Wow, we're gonna look like absolute morons, Greg. If you had to guess who sings that song, I Get By With a Little Help From My Friends, who would you guess? You and I both said, oh, we don't know it. I looked it up. We're idiots.
I have no clue. I'm bad. I'm horrible at like guessing.
Sing the song.
Honestly, I'm like struggling.
I get by with a little help from my friends. I get high with a little help from my friends.
Greg, fuck you.
I have no idea.
Greg, have you ever heard of a band?
Of a band?
I believe I have. You know what bands are? Okay, we're gonna start there. Yes. That's good. Good job, buddy.
I know what bands are.
Have you ever heard of the Beatles?
No way. Are you serious?
I'm not serious. I'm very serious. I'm super serial. Do you remember the last time you felt this dumb? I don't. Mine might have been when you were
probably like 10 minutes ago when I was trying.
You broke up really bad. I didn't hear anything you said. Josh, can we make sure that Greg gets better internet when we make this a real company? Can you add it to the list?
Uh-huh.
Thanks.
Mm-hmm. All right.
I think your air conditioning is tied to your internet, Greg.
It must be. I'm telling you, man, all this output now is just like going to fry a circuit at some point, I bet. So we'll see.
What part of your house are you proud of? Like, what part do you actually go like, oh, I like this? Because you seem to find an issue with everything else.
Welcome to being a homeowner,
no one
man.
made you buy this, right?
I don't think that's welcome to being a homeowner.
Yeah, no, my parents love their house.
I love my house too. It's just that I love my house too, but there's always going to be something that like either like irks me to a degree or is like could be better or something. Like it's always like a never-ending cycle with it, essentially.
Yeah. Okay. Well, anyways, welcome to Two Beers Deep. Greg hates his house, and he just turned his air conditioning on for the first time today. So your house doesn't hear the show, Greg. It's fine. They're not going to get in trouble for hating your house. Bean.
That's very true. Although I'm grateful that my mom doesn't watch the show because she would have probably disowned me for not recognizing the Beatles song. Now that I think about it,
yeah. So I'm glad Mark's not in this chat.
Yeah, hindsight being 2020, I'm grateful for that one.
Hindsight 2023.
Good point.
Got a loaded show. It was a good week of sports stuff. We're 2 weeks now from our NHL draft extravaganza.
Extravaganza.
Yeah.
No. Yeah.
A lot of topics to get to. So let's crack some shit and dive into some fun questions I have for you guys to start the show, and then we'll talk sports.
Okay.
I love it.
3, 2, 1, action. First question, Greg. What are you drinking?
To celebrate me officially being back on the wagon, my very last of my Greenfield You Are Here series from East End Brewing. I think this is the last one in existence.
I have multiple.
That's not how that goes.
Wait, is it on or off the wagon? I can't remember.
When you start drinking, you're off the wagon.
Okay, so I fell off the wagon. Apologies then.
On purpose.
Yeah, like you got out of the wagon.
Yeah.
I voluntarily hopped off the wagon when I realized. Yeah, I hopped off the wagon when I realized it was a safe landing spot. I fell into
off the wagon means you go back to like an addiction, or you're actively trying to better your life and you fall, like you're an idiot and you fell off the wagon and now you're outside and you have to walk again despite all your effort to catch up to the wagon.
Well, I mean, I am kind of an idiot for missing up the point right there. So based on that term, I fell off the wagon then.
No.
That's not
I'm trying. I'm trying.
I know you're trying, but you need to stop trying.
Yeah.
Greg, Josh, what are you drinking? Also, Josh, he said that was the last. Like every time he has a beer, he saes, "This is the last of the 4-pack I had from this one brewery." I swear he said it like every second. Josh, what are you drinking? Nope, you're done, Greg.
All right, fine.
We're drinking Coors Lights.
Despite
the fact that I'm wearing everything head to toe Peach State Light. That's beer 17 of the 23.
Oh, you're going down.
What?
You're counting down.
Oh, yeah.
It's counting down.
Okay. Yeah. You understand how that's a little confusing, but I like it.
Yeah. Well, that's the way I put them in graphically. So that's how we're going.
True. Touche. Good point.
And then I just want to bring up really quick.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anybody that watched the counting clip today, can we out Greg as not knowing how to count?
If we all agree to out you first.
Oh, but
because you technically
I put it. It's in all over the clip where I admit that I don't know how to count. But
what did Greg mess up?
I give bad math, and then Greg agrees with it. And then you go, wait a minute, that's not right. Then you correct it, and then Greg agrees with you. So Greg just agrees with whatever comes out of whoever's mouth about math.
Can we watch the clip?
Can we watch the clip? Yeah, we can watch the clip. Hang on a second.
Do you have a screen able to do that? Because I'm interested now.
Yeah.
Greg. I saw the clip earlier, and I did exactly what Josh said. I didn't realize it at first, and then it wasn't, and then all of a sudden I see the goofy expression on Deke's face trying to have the wheels turn in his head, and then he's like, "Wait a second, that's not right." And then
don't take a shot at me because I'm the one that can do math.
All right,
trying to get the wheels turning in his head. Yeah, play the clip.
Yeah.
Right, so basically, I need to drink 5 a show, and then the final show I need to drink 6 to make 23.
Just like the races, I can't see shit. But
so
I'm assuming we're watching
I think what's going to end up happening is we're going to stick with our friends at Course PGH for the foreseeable future. What?
5 a show and then 6 is 5, 10, 15, 21.
Yeah,
I think. Hang on. I think you talked over the part.
There's only 4 shows. I don't.
The foreseeable to make 23. So a show, and then the final show I need to drink 6 to make 23.
So here's Greg agreeing.
So I think what's going to end up
Derek goes, wait a minute.
Is we're going to stick with our friends.
Why can you talk, but I can't talk?
We're all talking.
The foreseeable future.
I was told not to talk.
What?
5 a show and then 6 is 5, 10, 15, 21.
Story
short. Okay, Greg, you're an idiot. There's only 4 shows.
Yes, I am. Yeah. Very much so. Yeah. I'm admitting to it. Yeah.
Yeah, but we have to catch you. It's different. Josh admitted to it in real time.
Okay. So I'm admitting to it because you caught me. That's fair. I would not admit it in real time. I would be the type of person to keep my argument and keep my feet on the ground about it until I'm proven otherwise. To act like a jerk about it, I guess.
Somehow that feels like a ricochet shot at me.
No, it's not.
The fact that you ended with "I guess" is pretty solidifying the fact that you believe you just called Josh out for him being a bad person.
Yeah,
I didn't mean to.
That's exactly what just happened.
Well, you did. Do you want to apologize for it in real time, or should we talk about it next week?
No. This time I'll gladly admit to the fact that I unknowingly called Josh dumb. I did not mean to sound that way.
Yeah, I'm sure you did. I'm drinking Bearded Irish Homestyle, the best beer in Nashville. All right, let's dive into some topics here. We got a lot of sports to cover. Josh sent out a wonderful looking description of everything, all the topics and shit. So let's dive in.
Gentlemen, did John Rahm win the Masters or did Brooks Koepka choke it away? Embrace debate.
Greg.
I, for one, would like to point out that I'm thrilled that Ramamania is running wild as it should have been for a very, very long time. I'm happy that he got this green jacket because I believe he was the most consistent player after the one horrible very first hole and then just dominated the rest of the way. But you cannot tell me that Brooks Koepka did not choke away the Masters after playing brilliantly the first 2 holes and then on Sunday, even though it was in condensed conditions because of weather, he did not choke that Masters away. He played god awful on the final round. And that's something that I do not see. It's almost something that's very un-Koepka-like. You know, Koepka's majors that he won, he was pretty consistent throughout them, or even for the most part, he withheld leads for the most part. I can't wrap my head around what happened Sunday. And it's not like Rahm was playing out of his mind either. There was another guy that we'll get to that played out of his mind to finish strong at the end, but Brooks absolutely just drop the bed on this one.
Drop the bed? I like that. I don't know. I like I don't. It's
like he works for a moving company.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Drop the ball is the phrase
he's like helping with, but that's a new one. And he dropped the bed. There goes the couch.
Yeah. Dropped it right on my foot. Yeah.
Couldn't disagree more, Greg. And here's why. The Masters is a 4-day affair. You have to show up 4 different times to win it. And Jon Rahm showed up every single day. I think I understand the Brooks stuff because when you finish on a 75, it's obviously, not where you want to be. He shot 3 over on the day and Rahm shot 3 under. But for me, look at round 3 where Rahm, Mickelson, Koepka, Spieth, and Reed all finished in the green. They all had great days other than Brooks on the final day. Other than that, so when you look at it as a holistic experience, I understand that clutch means you finish, right? Clutch means you get it to the end and you walk through. Brooksy's not clutch, in my opinion, but Rahm won this by shooting a 65 the opening day, which was tied with Brooks, shooting a 67 the next day, which was ahead of it. You know what I mean? He to me felt like a guy that was consistently the leader day in and day out, despite Brooks' a wonderful play here and there. But Rahm had this in the bag for me from day one.
Is there, though, a correlation between clutch and consistency in this case with Koepka? Because when you're saying Brooks isn't clutch, yeah, I kind of understand that. But I just brought up the fact, too, that like the majors that he won, he essentially kind of withheld everything that was coming up underneath him and was able to stay the course. It was almost like a steady presence. Does that kind of correlate to the notion of someone being clutch, though? Because I'm not sure. Clutch is essentially something that, like, clutch to me represents something like you're in like a very tight situation and you don't choke and you withstand the pressure.
Clutch versus consistency, the perfect analogy that I'm going to drop on you right now, in my opinion. We can, have a conversation about it when it gets to that specific sport. For me, consistency is Dalton Schultz in the NFL last year.
Okay.
Clutch is Travis Kelce. And here's the difference there. Kelce is great in the postseason. Kelce is untouchable in the Super Bowl. Kelce, at the end of the day, is an above average, best in the league, maybe tight end. When it comes to it, I get that. Dalton Schultz was extremely consistent all year. He's not clutch, though. And what I'm getting at with that, Greg, is consistency can be clutch, but clutch doesn't breed consistency, because here Rahm was just very good about making sure he didn't mess up. If I'm going to give someone a clutch factor in this, it's Phil for shooting 7 under the final day. That's clutch. Yeah. That's like, hey, no, I need to step up in the moment of time. Like Tom Brady is clutch. That's what I'm missing with Brooksy when it comes to putting his foot on someone's throat. He just doesn't seem to do it.
He doesn't have that killer instinct that you were kind of expecting from him. He strikes you as that personality of someone that should have a killer instinct, doesn't he? Like that
to live.
Yeah, but and he's even been upfront about it. He said he doesn't want to have to work like Tiger did to get the bank that Tiger eventually got, which respect to that. I'm not denying that, but maybe we've been looking at Brooksy wrong the entire time in terms of his golf career. We kind of see the personality that he has, and we kind of look at him as the type of person that is very confident in his golf game, and as someone that shouldn't be, that in a pressure situation doesn't necessarily falter to that degree, and is someone that is relied upon to that. But do we rethink then his entire approach then after this past weekend? Because it's kind of something that this is going to be a glaring red flag for him going into next year, probably.
Here's kind of where I'm at. Golf is so particular, and golf is so specific when it comes to these conversations. Tiger's clutch, right?
Yes.
Tiger's also consistently clutch. So the conversation there can happen. The difference, though, is there are times where individuals have clutch things or incidents, right? Like there's a clutch drive. Rory, for a little while, we would have called clutch, right? Freddie Couples made more money off the Masters by lasting to the final round. And that's the point. Freddie Couples is consistent, and consistency breeds success on some level. Rory being clutch early in his career and not being consistent. He missed the cut. I know these aren't perfect parallels, but it's such a weird sport when it comes to these conversations outside of the like elite guys. Do I knock Brooks for going live? Absolutely not. Get your bag. I don't give a shit, man. Like realistically, that doesn't, the whole like you need to stay here and earn it doesn't matter to me. That'd be like if divisions in college football had NIL and others didn't. And it was like, don't you want to play for West Virginia for pride? Don't you want to make $1 million at Oklahoma? Yeah, I'm probably going to go to Lincoln Riley School, wherever he's at. So that's why it doesn't matter to me on there, but you can't call Brooksy clutch despite how fucking good he is at golf.
Yeah. But like this past weekend, I think is going to be something that is going to just bother him the rest of the way. Now, having said that, he does have other majors coming up. You know, they got the US Open coming up in June, which I think Brooks is there's no better tournament that he performs at than the US Open, in my opinion. So I think that's a great way to kind of boost his confidence back up to that degree and kind of save face in that regard. Man, like that weekend though, as much as it was a black eye for Brooks Koepka, not so much black eye, but I think he definitely like missed a huge opportunity to that regard. I got to say, I think Liv won this weekend easily. Like the Liv players by themselves, 3 of them finished in the top 5 this past at the Masters? Like that's a conversation I think we have to like kind of rethink the stance. Even though a Liv guy didn't win, like I would have loved to have seen it.
Would you?
That's huge. That's huge.
I think Rahm did what we were all hoping for, which was keep a level of consistency on the shit talk. So that, dude, I think if the Liv would have won, there's no coming back from it for PGA pros. If the fact that the PGA won, the exact conversation remains the same, which is the PGA is pristine and correct. The Liv Tour went for money, and look what happened. They didn't win. Now, granted, yes, Rahm Tour, Mickelson Liv, Brooks Liv, Spieth Tour, Reed's there, Hovland, Scotty. But the point for me, I'm glad Rahm won because it breeds a closer interaction, in my opinion, to the match that we all really want to see. If the PGA keeps winning, the Liv's eventually going to go, fuck it, we want to play you 1v1. And the PGA can go, we've already beat you. We don't need that. But if it was the other way, there's no way the PGA challenges the Liv Tour. There's no way they go to Liv and say, hey, we want to play you. So I think the fact that the PGA won out, it's good for golf.
I agree. Is this also a sense too where because though the PGA won the Masters, but 3 of the top 5 ended up being Liv, then are we now maybe looking at the next round of the majors from a different perspective then? Are we expecting Liv guys to kind of perform to that same level going forward because it's going to be an even playing field? Because that's going to be now, I think, a narrative that's going to be followed moving forward is how many Liv guys end up outperforming the PGA professionals.
I think so. Josh?
I don't know. I think I legitimately don't know. I think the fact that it wasn't like Jon Rahm and 6 Liv guys at the top 5, you know what I mean? Like it was a healthy dose of mix with top guys from both sides being involved. So it's kind of like round 1 was a tie. You know what I mean? Like in every good superhero movie, the first time the bad guy fights the good guy, it's like a draw, right? And then the bad guy wins the second one, and then the good guy wins the third one. That's kind of like what I think this is going to boil out to.
I think to combat you a little, Greg, in there, and I think what Josh said is kind of where I'm leaning. This isn't this finish right now is not some Liv is Creed in the Creed movie where, oh, you know what, man? They lost, but man, they were good enough to make me think the Liv Tour is real because
it's not a moral victory, basically. Yeah.
But none of us thought the Liv was not going to show up, Greg, because they're consistent names we've always already known. Right. If this was a league with other guys let's word it this way. If the NHL played Russia in hockey, the best of the leagues, and I go out there and I watch, it would probably be closer than I expect. You know what I mean? Like, I genuinely don't know any of them, though. So for me, I'd be like, damn, maybe I should check out Russian hockey. Here, these are names we know and love and have consistently seen. Why does it have to be Liv versus PGA? It's golf, Smalls, because that's what they did. I don't think the fans made it Live versus PGA. The golfers did. And the golfers
media.
themselves, the media, that's where I'm going, is the golfers themselves have no issue with one another. But due to the backing of who the Live Tour is, they're got a lot of flack. And I think it always will be that. And I think it's good for golf. I don't think it's a bad thing at all.
Oh, no, listen. The fact that the Live Tour has become a thing now forced the PGA Tour's hands to be now way more like incentivizing to the players now.
100%.
The amount of money that these guys are getting, the fact that there's going to be a team setup that's going to be like a winter event that's being put together, which I'm hyped for. I think that's not till 2024, but we'll see about that. No, golf has never been in a better spot because competition creates that level of awareness and that type of product that then we are going to get more eyeballs on. So I think because of that, and because of the fact this was the first Masters, was this was technically the first Masters with Live being as active as it was, I think.
Correct.
I think that's probably why we had so many more eyeballs and so much more like interaction and social interactions because of the Masters. And it made it such a much better competition overall.
Man.
Oh, go ahead.
No. I was just saying, I was just agreeing.
So let's say you're 20 years old or 21 years old and your college career is wrapping up and you're kind of like, man, this is kind of sucks, but like, man, what a ride. And then you're like in the final group on Saturday in the Masters. What a fucking ride for Sam Bennett.
Sam Bennett just made so much money, and he is now going to be in a bidding war to determine where he's going.
He's an amateur.
He doesn't get prize money from it. Even
he could win sponsorship, but I would also like to add, as much as I do adore that guy, he has shot a 76 and a 74. I wanted him not to win. I get it. And dude, he's an amateur. Like finishing 16 is not anything bad. He finished 2 under 4 days of the Masters. I loved it, but I was rooting for him to be up there at the end of this. But yeah, sorry, Greg, to cut you off, but he gets no money for that. He could probably get some nice NIL deals and a nice tour chip after that. But that'd be a pretty fucking cool experience, huh?
Yeah, no, I mean, he was at 8 under going into the third round at the Masters. That's incredible. That's incredible to say. Is he? And I'm trying, and also to think about this too. I didn't realize coming into this how many stories we were going to have coming out of the Masters too that we got to like kind of delve into as well. Because Bennett is one we weren't expecting coming into that. We have other stuff to get to, but Bennett has kind of set himself up now where, and this is why, again, I love the Live in PGA Tour aspect, because now you have competing promotions to try to decide who's going to get the guy who's going to get the guy when he's eventually eligible to eventually join their tour. I mean, is he going to add notoriety to them? I doubt it, but the name recognition alone is probably enough to warrant you a spot on either tour if you want.
The Live is the WCW of golf and will be dead in 5 years. Thoughts?
Okay, so first off, you don't understand WCW because WCW was around before WWE. So fact checks. Plain and simple.
Prove it with items in the room you're in, Josh.
Prove it with items. Shit.
Notice how he's not considering the computer an item, Greg. Like how you wrote down handwritten notes last night instead of using.
I'm old fashioned. What can I say?
The history of WCW. I don't know shit about it.
Okay, basic idea.
Give me the high level.
Okay, so a lot of people think that WCW was a newer promotion, but they were originally Jim Crockett Promotions, which were a territory in the National Wrestling Alliance, which had been around into the 50s and 60s.
Why does their Wikipedia say 88?
88 is when WCW was bought by Turner.
Why does their Wikipedia not start earlier?
Because Jim Crockett Promotions was what the territory was called. When they were bought by Turner, they were rebranded to WCW.
So WCW has not been around that long.
No, it has been. It's just been a different name.
Yeah. So it hasn't. Like Acrisure has only been there for a year.
Oh, I don't like that.
Yeah, I really hate that. I really hate that you threw that logic back at us. Damn.
Sorry, but that's
it. It makes sense.
Listen, man, if Wikipedia says it's wrong, it's
wait,
wrong.
When was it?
88.
80. Oh, well, WWF was only 98 or 80 rather.
Okay.
So I mean, like,
yeah, they were
Close.
WWWF, yeah.
Headquarters located in Smyrna, Georgia. All right. Anything else on golf here, guys, before we move on? I think the Bennett stuff is interesting, and I think he goes to the tour. I don't think low names are going to get the big money the Liv offers, but he is the only one I would consider the Liv to like go after. Smalls also says Greg versus Wikipedia showdown of the century. Wikipedia 1, Greg 0.
Whoa, no. I was technically right, in fairness.
How?
It's just
I proved you
rebranding.
Technically wrong. And the Wikipedia page.
Semantics.
So Acrisure Center's been there for years? Acrisure Stadium?
Is that how you say it?
Acrisure? How do you say
sure?
it?
I don't know. I don't pronounce it.
Acrisure? That's how I said it.
I think say Heinz.
I think it's Acrisure.
I call it the sure. Just fits. I don't know. Let's have I want to do a TFTB golf outing soon, but I want to pay Abigail to watch Dennis so he doesn't cheat.
Could we trust Gail to do it?
If you
Can
pay
we
her.
trust her? Yeah. Okay, that makes sense. Only two things that I would bring up again with the Masters. Number one,
do it.
How much did the weather impact the ending and what ended up happening? You think, honestly, trying to rush the end of the third round in the morning and then leading into day 4? Because I honestly thought they weren't. I know, but I honestly didn't think they were going to finish it all on Sunday. I thought they were going to at least space it out or something.
I mean, I would say a lot, but at the same time, every one of them went through it. So that's kind of my take on those situations is like, oh man, Brooks would have done better without the weather. Okay, well, Rahm did really good with it. So
fair. Okay. And then the last thing, because I think this is something that we do have to bring up. It is kind of not something I want to, but we have to.
The tree.
Well, that was gnarly, by the way. Holy shit.
Have you guys seen the video where they cut it together with the Billy Madison tower falling?
That's sick.
Or the Happy Gilmore. Yeah, Happy Gilmore tower falling. It's fucking incredible. Anyway.
What do you not want to talk about, Greg?
Tiger.
Oh, why would we not? He's on the screen.
Well, I don't know. I mean, it was kind of like, he made the cut, which was cool and stuff, but like, damn, like you could just, he is just not.
Am I the only fucking person who thinks that what happened to Tiger only adds to his legacy?
Yes.
Really?
100%.
A screw came out of his fucking foot and he finished the round. That's hockey player shit, man. That's
but he
awesome.
I don't think that adds to his legacy. It adds to the disappointment of what Tiger was and what we hoped he could get back to.
Fuck that. I think it's so cool.
But he didn't finish the Masters, though, Josh.
I don't care. I think it's fucking
but that's the problem. Tiger, to me, is... If I was him, I'd probably pack it in and just do the Masters every year. The dude literally has a robotic leg. Like,
he's literally the bionic man. Yeah, that's
ESPN literally sent out a push notification that said Tiger's reward for making the cut is more pain and suffering. And I couldn't think of a better way to word that.
Wow. I was not expecting something like that, but yeah, that's very on point. I saw a lot of stuff online about how the PGA Tour should make an exception for Tiger and he should be allowed to use a golf cart during tournaments.
Well, then John Daly would be back on the tour.
Right. Exactly. And that would be the case, John Daly would be allowed to drink on tour too. We should be making exceptions throughout all that.
Yeah, I don't know, Josh. I'm still like, I don't think this Masters did anything good for Tiger Woods.
Okay. That hockey brain.
It's cool.
We could say hockey brain on that. That's fine. You can chalk it up to hockey brain.
But it's like watching, your grandpa bend over and take a half hour to get something that he dropped. Obviously, we'd help him. But he got it. He did it. He got it. But that sucked watching. That's where I'm at with it.
I compare it, Josh, since you brought the hockey aspect. It's kind of like, do you remember watching Gretzky when he was a Ranger?
That's like watching Sid.
It's weird. It was just
fucking with me right now. I'm about to fucking drive to Nashville and kick your motherfucking ass.
Good luck. You don't know where I live. You never visited.
I mean, it's 18-hour drive. You could make it.
Fuck
yeah,
that.
You better get driving. Oh my God, there's cops outside. All right, let's roll it.
Gentlemen, the play-in tournament is almost done. The playoffs are almost set. The NBA is in its peak of the NBA playoffs.
And Derek won $300. Shout out the Lakers.
That parlay was insane, by the way. I can't believe that was what, a 12-step parlay in order to get that?
It was a dollar. I think it was 10. It was up there. The play-in games, the interesting thing is I love that the Raptors have to go through DeRozan and Lowry to get to the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
I thought you were going to make a joke about how the Raptors had to get through DeMar DeRozan's daughter to get eliminated.
Yeah, dude. Yo, let's unpack that real quick. So, is it a good thing or a bad thing?
You know what? I saw it today, and I'll be honest. If I was a fan, I'd be annoyed as hell hearing like a small child like scream the entire time while I'm trying to watch a game. But on the other hand, I think the story aspect of it is really cool and really kind of fun. So I'm stuck in the middle on this. I don't know if I hate it or love it.
It's cheating. You know what I mean?
Is it no different though than like any other like fan?
Any other fan would have been removed from the arena.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
That's where I'm at, Greg. I'm all for it. Cheat, do it. But we got to address the fact that if I went to a game and I screamed every time there's a foul shot, I would have probably 78% chance I get removed.
How different, though, is it? Because here's the thing. If you're watching like a college game and you're on the road and it's like a chaotic environment and the student section is going crazy at you, like that, like I'm not comparing it to that part. I'm more so comparing it to the fact, like, let's say you have road fans and they are louder on camera because there's less of them.
Yeah.
That's what I compare it to. So why are those fans going to be kind of like singled out?
You're comparing it to college is the simple answer.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yep.
Like you're comparing it to a different sport. That's why.
Also, I've seen fans removed from college games. Their student sections removed. I've had our entire student section at Wyoming was basically threatened to be thrown out because they were chanting "mommy milkers" at the hot moms on the other team. But like, you can get thrown out for that kind of
incredible.
Shit. Absolutely. And the only reason she wasn't is because it's DeRozan's daughter. I also can't imagine being a father and trying to parent while also attempting to play a game.
Well, here's the thing, Josh. He probably didn't care because it was helping his team.
That was, yeah.
So that's the point. He didn't care. If that was my
kid, I would say, good job screaming, even though, I don't want to rag on a kid. The kid sounds annoying as hell. Full transparency. But as a kid, and if I was that age and I felt that I did something right, I would have kept doing it. So at the end of the day, it was annoying as fuck, but it worked.
Yeah, no, that's my point. Like if I was in her shoes, I probably would have been doing it. And then if someone would have like came up to me and like literally like got in my face and said, stop, then I probably would have stopped. But no one did. No one came to her and told her to stop. So keep going if it's working.
They put she's out on Friday due to school is what they put her injury report as.
That's incredible.
That rocks.
I saw that she was even. I saw she was even at that game because she was allowed to skip school.
Yeah. So they asked if she'd be back the next one. He goes, "No, she got school," and it said out due to school.
That's amazing. But I bet you she probably didn't expect to actually play another game. So it was probably like a one-time deal that he needed that extra little like motivation and that extra help to get past the Raptors.
Moving over to the Heat and the Hawks. I am fully out on the Hawks being any sort of contender of anything past what the Trailblazers have succeeded with. I think they're a cool young team. I'm out on them being a real contender anytime. I love Collins, love Trae Young, love Bogdanovich. They don't feel like a team that has pieces that work together. They feel like a team that has really good pieces that just do not fit together.
Isn't that why the coach is there? Isn't that what that whole conversation was? Why they brought him in mid-year was to make that evaluation, whether or not he thinks he could get these pieces to work together. Yep. And then the Hawks are like literally hours before the game, like we're trading Trae Young. Like, I mean, it seems like I don't even think that's a take, Derek. I think it's spot on because literally what's happening around that team is evidence that that's the truth.
It's sad, but it's there. And I will add this. I wonder how they feel knowing that they had Luka Doncic and stuck with Trae because Trae's been really good. Trae has been really, really good. And I would
not
say
as good this season.
Agreed. But Trae's career so far has lived up to every ounce of hope, full hype, maybe surpassed. But the fact that it's not working out really And I mean, to be fair, Luka's looking to be moved from the Mavs too, but it's just an interesting thought there. They'll always be tied together.
They always will be tied together, but I do find it interesting though that I think Trae Young had one of the best, like a phenomenal playoff run. The year he is going to make bank forever with the Ice Trae reference, simply for the fact that he quieted Madison Square Garden. He is going to. I think his legacy will be that for the longest time, and he made it. His team got to the Eastern Conference Finals because of that. But I also think it's fair to say too that in that time frame, he also got 2 coaches fired. In that, so I think there's a give and take here with Trae Young, and I'm kind of when Josh. I think you were the one that pointed out that Trae Young was elite. As soon as I heard that, I kind of like took a step back and thought, and I'm like. I am not sold on Trae Young being elite simply for the fact that I think his team has perpetually been a 6 to 8 seed that will get. And I heard something say that the Atlanta Hawks are undefeated in play-in games since the play-in tournament has started, and I don't know if that's something to be proud of when you are Trae Young.
Technically, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if that's something that you should be like striving for. As a team, I'd rather be a top 6 seed and get that bye and not have to worry about it,
Yeah, I mean, Young has played, so out of the top 20 scorers in the NBA, okay, from this past season, Young is one of 1, 2, 3, 4 that has over 70 games played. Trae Young sits 14th on that list.
Ugh.
Ahead of him is Jaylen Brown, Kyrie Irving, Devin Booker, Donovan Mitchell, LeBron James, Kevin Durant, Steph Curry, Jason Tatum, and then we get to better people. Below him is John Morant, Zion Williamson, who played 29 games, and this is a points average.
That's incredible.
Average, okay. My point being, he's averaging a lot of points in a lot of time, right? That's a good thing. It's great. Maybe he's doing it in a way that's hurting the Hawks. And I think there's a realistic scenario he goes and has to be the 2 somewhere, and it's good. But I will stick with this take. I don't think signing Dejounte Murray helped him.
Why?
It takes out the scenario of what his need really was. Go ahead. You glitched a little bit, so you seem angry.
No, I'm curious because I think the Dejounte Murray pickup was smart to a degree because I think that was something that they were struggling with, which was a backcourt mate for him. And I think that was something that he needed because I thought Trae having the ball in his hands and the entire time was probably not necessarily the best idea because in terms of being a playmaker, I think he's a little bit flawed versus being a scorer. And that makes sense. So I don't know I don't necessarily say that it was a bad move. I think what it did was that I think it reinforced the logic that Trae is just maybe not the best fit for that team and is probably in a situation that I think if you move Trae, I think the Hawks have a lot of pieces around them that could fit a little better and be a more well-balanced team.
That's the point though, right? That's why it was bad for Trae. Because this team now is built to be an NBA team as opposed to what Trae almost needs it to be, which is Damian Lillard. Trae sits right now, 73 games. Dejounte Murray had 74. Minutes, 34 to 68. So Murray had more minutes. Points, 26 to 20 Trae. Then you get into a couple other ones where assists. Trae had 10 average assists. Dejounte Murray had 6. Steals, 1.1 to 1.5. Turnovers, Trae had 4. Dejounte had 2.5. Assist to turnover ratio, 2.5 to 2.8. The thing that I just genuinely believe they could have stuck with Bogdanovich at the 2, obviously a stretch 3 there, and brought in somebody that was a better suit for what this is. And I get it. Maybe it's a little bit of hindsight. They don't go after Murray. They have an opportunity to bring in a Kevin Durant that might play well with Trae Young in that situation. But because they signed Dejounte Murray and a couple other pieces, they're not in a position with draft picks to go anywhere near Kevin Durant in that trade. That is all 100% conjecture and hindsight because you make the moves you have to in that moment. You can't wait around to hope the Nets blow up because none of us saw that coming. No. But to your point, Greg, they would be a better team right now, maybe without Trae. So that signing to me was bad for Trae. Good for the Hawks.
Okay.
Bad for Trae.
Okay. From that perception, I can see what you're saying there. And also, I look at that Hawks team as well. The Hawks have always kind of been that team that are like, we feel like something can happen with them because they just have so much young talent, and we think that they could turn the corner, and we think that they can make that next step. But how long are we going to have that narrative? Because I feel like that's been the narrative now for 3 to 4 years. So I don't know what more can happen at that point. Like I think it's fair to say that the Hawks have kind of hit their ceiling.
I don't think that's a take at all, to quote Josh. Other games that we had there, Lakers scraped one out. I was worried because I genuinely wasn't sure what to do in the upfront parts of that game. The Lakers were down by like 9 at one point, and I knew we weren't going to lose by 9. I knew it was going to get back to being close. Man, that thing went to overtime because AD's a big lummox.
Oh my God! What? Maybe the dumbest foul I've seen in years. Maybe.
I will add one thing, Josh. The best comment just came through. Who the fuck is Chad? Dude's hella cute. Shout out to Chad, our golf blogger now.
Shout out, Chad.
Do you want to address that?
First off, let's just start. Did he say I was cute? Because I am cute. My hair, the longer it gets, is like turning into ringlets. It's very nice. Also,
that's shampoo and
motherfucker. If you've been here since the doors fucking opened and you don't know someone's fucking name, I think you're allowed to say, "Who the fuck is this?"
Well,
second,
due to my comment about Acrisure, I would say you haven't been here since the door opened, Josh. You left and came back, so you had a new clock.
Are you Rico Boscoing me?
I'm just telling you that you
Rico Boscoing me.
Heinz Field was nice to have the show with. We now have a show with Acrisure. That's all I'm saying.
We went from ketchup to a Michigan-based insurance company. I don't know. That's probably a massive downgrade.
Chad says, to be fair, you know me as Slow Pound. That's true.
Oh. Well, why didn't anyone just say it was Slow Pound?
Because all you did was tweet, who the fuck is this guy who's actually, I don't know, making blog content. Third highest blog of the year, and Josh tries to chirp him. And then Josh goes after
the third highest blog of the year.
Yes, it is.
No, it's not. I looked at the stats because I was concerned.
That came out this year. Yes, it is.
No, it's not.
Go ahead.
I'm gonna go look right now.
Wait a second, Josh. Why would you be concerned about it? Like, isn't true. That like?
But then, okay. Josh, there's no way you don't think it's true, or you looked, because you would have replied with a picture.
So, hang on. I can't ever figure this fucking shit again.
You click years on the stats tab.
Stats, years. Got it.
And then you click 2023 if you want. You go to view all. And you move to, year. And then you look, and the ones with marks on the side, is that where it's at? There's ones that have marks on the side now. Hold on. Yeah, that's a good point. There's but blogs that have marks on the side that show when it came out. And yeah.
Okay.
But what did you look? No, don't okay. What did you look up? Because
I'm just looking at the posts this year, and the number one post is the rankings horror movie.
Oh, so no, you got to look at blogs that dropped this year.
Yeah, I don't know how to see that.
I'll send it to you.
Okay, cool. All right.
Chad had the third highest Thoughts on the Bench blog produced this year.
Well, when you write something as profound and legacy bound as the 5 best worst things about spitting chiclets, which is still getting clicks to this fucking day, then you can come talk to me, Slow Pound. But until then, keep your mouth shut, or I'll beat your ass at cornhole.
Yeah, but that one, where's that one? Slow Pound. 242. Got it. Just so you're can I read the things ahead of your blog? That's 242 views this year alone.
This year alone, yeah.
These are the blogs that have gotten more views in the lifespan of Thoughts on the Bench than Josh's blog there. TFTB Impossible Creature Armies.
Oh, God.
The 2014 NFL redraft. So 1 point Austin, 1 point Derek.
Okay.
Who has the best hat in baseball? Who the fuck wrote that one? Is that you? Okay, there you go.
Motherfucker.
That dropped November 13th, 2020, which is just beat out so the next 4 are hilarious. So what Best Hat in Baseball lost to the 10 best beers to have. I think my best blog ever.
Oh, the video content for that too. Didn't you do like the blind taste test with that one as well?
No. That was the one of like the balcony beer, the boat.
Oh, got you. Okay.
The next one is You versus Dexter, which racks up views, dude. The show You versus the show Dexter, Austin's comparison.
Yeah.
The next one is the homepage.
Wait. All time.
And then this is this year, Josh.
Oh, this year. Okay.
I need you to stay with me when we do stuff. The next one, the second highest blog that has gotten views this year is She Came Down in a Bubble Explained.
Yeah, which is great.
What?
And then ranking every horror movie in Ice 9 Kills.
I'm just saying, right now, all time, Austin has the highest. I have the second highest. Just saying. All time.
Yeah, but to be fair, aren't you publishing pages under your name?
Mm-mm. No, I'm looking at the ranking. Every horror movie has the most ever with 24,000. The next best is Spittin' Chicklets with 9,000.
Oh. Okay. But this year, you understand.
Yeah, I get it.
Okay.
I get it. It's now my goal to bury this kid, and that's the end of it.
Yeah,
Wow.
So that's an interesting thing. Not to just, I don't know, write a blog.
No,
now your goal is like 80 views.
I mean,
I swear, Josh makes more arch enemies from this company than anything else. They're like, this is supposed to be a company that like brings together friendship and camaraderie. Nope, Josh just finds mortal enemies.
I'm just saying that
it's a great blog.
Michael Jordan would have never put up with this shit. Never.
No, but Michael Jordan also would have wrote a fucking blog this millennium.
Are you talking? What are you fucking talking about? I've had now I'm going to count them. Now you pissed me off.
Sorry. Michael Jordan would have wrote a good blog this year.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Oh wait, half of these are posts of the shows. Never mind.
Which I just okay.
1.
Which Greg, if you would know and pay attention, that is what I just asked.
Yeah,
he got all huffy, he got all angry, and he
3, 4.
I told you, man. He gets defensive when he sees
6.
someone else like tries to like outshine
no, just
him.
cut it off at try.
I wrote 6 articles this year.
Try.
I wrote 6 this year. Now I want to know how many Derek wrote because I guess it probably isn't as much as Josh wrote.
Published me 2 days ago. Deke 7 round. 3 days ago. That one's Chad's. Boom, boom, boom. Okay.
I like how this is a topic we probably could have addressed on the conference call yesterday too.
I have 8, and I would promise you they did better.
Do you want to bring back the House Cup?
No, because I don't like burying my employees this bad. That was an embarrassing endeavor for everybody.
Yeah, it wasn't great. Anyway,
let's move to we are at 47. Do you want to talk NFL or NBA the whole time until we get to the halfway?
Yeah, because we didn't even preview. Like, I want to talk a little bit about like, do we think the Nuggets are gonna blow it?
No,
do you think the Grizzlies have a shot? Like that kind of thing.
They have a shot because of Ja. Pow, pow, pow.
Wow.
Pow, pow. I mean, maybe the East is more interesting to talk about. In that sense,
are you just primed now for like anytime you hear shot, you just immediately are gonna like try to bring up Ja? Because if that's the case, that's impressive.
I mean, only when it's about the Grizzlies, Greg.
Everybody,
what the fuck are you chewing on? Jesus,
Josh, I don't necessarily want to say that the East is like the most interesting. I think the West is crazy because no one has any idea like what's gonna happen with that regard.
Sure.
It's very wide open. We have no freaking. Like we have no freaking clue what's going to happen in this case. I could say with near certainty the Nuggets will win their first round matchup regardless of if it's against the T-Wolves or the Thunder. Which, and by the way, Josh, just want to point out, this is now your last year technically being a Bucks fan. So I hope that you...
The bell did not ring. The bell did not ring. I have not made a decision yet. Also, we thoroughly believe on this program that you can have a team in a different conference. So really, Greg, take the boot, turn that sumbitch sideways, and shove it up your Rudy Poo candy ass.
Do we agree with that, Greg? Would you confirm that?
I don't know. I don't remember confirming this or not.
I will go.
Okay, so you don't like the Lions.
I will dig. Oh.
Shut the fuck up, Josh.
I can never tell if you're trying to help me.
Hence the hold on. So you don't like the Detroit Lions. Breaking news, Greg hates the Detroit Lions.
Count it.
Should have seen that coming a mile away.
Okay, yeah.
So mad. All right. Point taken.
I'm a point spiked in your stupid face. All right, keep going, Josh.
So you think the Nuggets get at least past the first round? They don't choke in the first round.
Yeah, because who they're going to end up playing? They're either going to be playing the T-Wolves, who are just a mess from so many different avenues. Oh, yeah, I don't know. And then an extremely young Oklahoma City Thunder team that is just happy to be there.
Isn't that... See, that's what would scare me if I was the Nuggets.
You think they're just happy to be there?
I think they are, yeah.
They got two dudes with the same name.
Yeah, that's annoying. Shea, though, I mean...
Shea's having an amazing year. Don't get me wrong. Shea's had an incredible year. I agree. And Josh Giddey looks like a stud, but...
He looks like Timothée Chalamet. Let's calm down.
He does. But this Nuggets team, though, I think has been... This is the time where everyone on that Nuggets team is finally healthy and coming together that I can't see them losing their first game. First series, I mean. They can lose maybe one game, but that's it.
That's what I was going to... Okay, so NBA's round. What round do the Nuggets make it to, Greg? Because there's just... Here's how I'll word it. There is almost... If you gave me the list of every team, I would feel as confident this year to tell you that the Pistons and the Nuggets have equal chance to win the NBA title.
Wow.
Dude, the Nuggets aren't winning a fucking title, man. They just aren't.
No, I'm not. I'm just surprised that you're coupling them together in that sense. That's interesting, but I mean, I don't hate you for it because I honestly would say the Nuggets don't make it out of the second round of the West because of who they could play.
I just so confidently can tell you that the Nuggets will not win a title.
But if we're just going by series, though, that's why I'm saying I think they won't have a problem getting to the second round based on who they're playing, though. It's when they go up against, and I believe the second round resets, so it's the lowest seed plays the high seed. I don't think it's an actual.
It reseeds?
I think.
Am I an insane person?
I'm looking it up. Does not reseed.
I don't.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Okay, so they would play the 4-5 match, which is the Suns and the Clippers.
Which, with a healthy KD...
I've never rooted for the Clippers before. This might be the series.
Really?
The Suns are...
But Chris Paul is addicted to the finals.
Yeah, dude. And there has never been a team that has supported an addiction quite like the Phoenix Suns, Greg.
No, none whatsoever. That's very accurate.
I mean... Yeah, I don't know, man. I think that the teams that are coming out of it, let's just name it like it is. I think the Thunder beat the T-Wolves. So you got the Nuggets versus the Thunder, Nuggets. Suns, Clippers, probably Suns. Kings, Warriors, Lakers, Grizzly. I'm going to go Lakers.
I think don't disagree.
They don't have Steven Adams. There's a lot of turmoil there. I like the thick guy, the thick G. What's the G League MVP's name? They just signed to a 4-year contract, Greg.
Oh, geez.
The Mountain Round of Rebound.
Well, that's Charles Barkley, but
not anymore.
Not anymore. I don't know the guy's name. I do not know the name.
Kenneth Lofton Jr.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So I like them, but I think the Lakers win that. So then you go on Warriors beat the Lakers. Suns beat the Nuggets. Then you have a Warriors-Suns semifinal to send the Warriors to another fucking final.
To play the Bucks.
Yeah, on that side, Josh, you got the Bucks playing the winner of the Heat Bulls, which I'm going Heat. Okay. I think they go on, then they play the Cavs. I think the Bucks go on, and then they play the Sixers or the Celtics.
Yep, which they have had the numbers of both those. Well, the Sixers have given them problems, but they've had the numbers of the Celtics, and yeah, that'll be interesting.
The Sixers and the Nuggets are the same thing to me. Neither franchise will win with their big man who might win MVP.
Oh, okay. Well,
I'm surprised you. I understand giving a lot of respect to the Warriors because of their championship pedigree, but are we just gonna completely gloss over the fact that they had one of the worst road records in NBA history?
Yes.
Probably.
Yes, I am.
Warriors?
Yes, I am.
Why?
Because they have fucking Clay and Steph and fucking what do you mean? You mean tell me those guys forgot how to win on the road? Just magically forgot how to fucking win a basketball game?
They spent all year forgetting how to win on the road.
Well, no, they spent all year forgetting how to stay healthy.
Andrew Wiggins, yeah, I understand that, but like they play like their defense this year on the road was just god awful, and they're going up. And listen, I understand. I'm not trying to say that the Kings are going to beat them or anything like that, they're going to play all 4 games in Sacramento against a team that is one of the best offensive teams at home to start. Like, that's a lot to try to overcome after they played all year horribly on the road.
What did we start the show with today, Greg?
We started realizing by the fact that I did not know a Beatles song. That's how we started the show.
Correct.
How did we actually start the sports portion, dickface?
We talked about consistency versus clutch.
Mm-hmm. The Kings have been consistent. The Warriors are clutch.
Mm-hmm.
They have 4 fucking rings.
I understand that, but
would you? Okay, hang on. Let's say the Penguins had made the playoffs.
Yeah.
And they were bad on the road all year this year, right? They sucked.
Yes.
And they're the lower seed. Did you honestly think that Sidney Crosby and the gang would not be able to win a game on the road in the playoffs?
I think they could, but winning a series is a different thing, though, man.
You don't have to win a series. You just have to win a game on the road, yeah.
Okay.
You can win 3 on the road.
That's fair.
It's also sample size, Greg. We have a much larger sample size of the Warriors figuring it the fuck out than we do the Warriors failing.
Also, note Greg not being able to do math again there.
What happened?
What happened?
Because you get 3 home games, so you only have to win 1 on the road to get 4, which is the series.
Yeah.
I heard that the NBA implemented you have to win all the road games, and home games don't matter for either team.
Exactly.
Clearly.
Yeah.
The other side of the bracket, I am interested, is how I'll word it, with this 76ers Nets matchup. The Nets have been pretty hot despite not really being a legitimate team, in my opinion. No offense to them. They're supposed to be bad and they're good.
Jacques Vaughn's a candidate for Coach of the Year just for the fact that he stabilized them and actually
he's the Brian Dabble of the NBA this year.
Yeah, no, he's not. I mean, Mike Brown's Coach of the Year, obviously, for Sacramento for the fact they got them to a playoff for the first time, I think, in 2000.
First time all California teams made the playoffs since like 2002, I think.
Awesome, actually, but no, like Jacques Vaughn basically stabilized that team after all the drama that they dealt with all year, and the Nets are in the playoffs, and Kyrie is not. So. What does that tell you? Yeah.
I can tell you it would not surprise me if the Nets knocked off the Sixers.
It wouldn't surprise me because the Sixers suck, but it would very much surprise me on a basketball knowledge level.
Wow. Thanks.
I
just taking ricochet shots here all day today.
I didn't say anything. I don't know what you're talking about. Man. Am I doing it right, Greg?
Yeah, something like that. But I got to be honest, the Sixers are the team that I'm following the most during this playoff run because of the fact that I don't think there's any other team in the playoffs that is in as much of a do or die situation as them. Because if they do not get to, I think, at least the conference finals, that team is going to get blown up.
Well, if they don't they die, yeah.
Yeah, that's why I'm saying like this is the most do or die situation. Maybe the Clips because of the fact that, you know, they've had Kawhi and PG for so long and they haven't been able to get past a certain point maybe, but aside from that, no, this Sixers team is the one that I think is just it's ripe for an implosion to happen at some point, and I cannot wait to see what happens.
I hope so, man. Mm-hmm. Hate that city. Sorry, Ping. Philly just sucks. All right, let's do our commercial breaky break.
Cool. Sounds good. After we come back from the commercial break, we're doing hockey talkie. I'm going to give the Penguins a eulogy, and we're going to preview the NHL playoffs. Stay tuned.
What is up, guys? Welcome back to the Vault, the weekly show from Thoughts from the Bench that takes a look back at some of the best and worst sports jerseys of all time.
So, I looked up what a Canuck was. Ben, you're gonna shit yourself. What a fucking silly country.
Here comes the Crimson Chin.
No. You sound like the John Candy in a fucking snapshot.
That's Uncle Buck.
I have an irrational fear of alligators and crocodiles. I hate them.
What? Of like, okay, this school, who looks like they're in High School Musical, just came and balled out. So yeah, they're not drinking Gatorade or water on the sidelines. They just got bottles of Barbicide, and they're just fucking tanking them down, dude. Like that guy who's gone and said, "Okay, where's the keg at?" You know, like that type of guy.
Yeah.
Like
he's a glue guy. He's a glue guy.
Okay, he's a glue guy.
I want to show off the human goose that is Mike Glennon.
Oh my God, he is a goose.
They're like mom jeans with the elastic on top. Like, I don't...
I'm okay. He's a man of the people. He's in with the students at games and sporting events. He's posing with the frat boys. He's getting pumped up, literally and metaphorically speaking, for every event. He is Dartmouth.
What?
That was really funny.
Football's the mitochondria, which is the powerhouse of the cell.
JJ Watt, bring it on over, pal. Bring it on over. Golgi apparatus, Golgi bodies, endoplasmic reticulum. I'm just naming off science shit now.
Was I supposed to do that or not?
No, we shortened it so that you didn't have to do that every time, and we could use it as like a.
So I didn't get to do it.
Yes,
let's word that correctly.
Sorry.
Yeah.
They're dead.
I wish we had like sad music playing as like an overhead to like kind of
Greg,
really
sing
set
like
the
some
mood, you know?
like for Josh. A little softer. Yeah, and say one other fucking word in this song.
Is he gonna do that the whole time?
He's just making noises. That isn't the words. He doesn't know Latin, you fraud.
No, I don't know Latin. Fuck that.
All right, I'm gonna try to make somebody cry. Ready?
Good luck.
See how this goes.
Tonight, the Pittsburgh Penguins will play their 82nd game of the season. And for the first time in 16 years, it will be their last. For the first time in 16 years, Pittsburgh will become a baseball town before May. For weeks now, I've told people to hold on. There is still hope. Don't get mad yet. We're still in this. But as the last place team in the NHL took 2-goal lead in the third period on Tuesday night, I knew it was over. I knew that after 16 years of amazing moments, that my beloved Penguins were going to miss the playoffs. It's at times like this that it's easy to resort to anger. It's easy to say that somehow we let a flyer amongst our ranks and he crashed the ship. Because of my sicko brain, I'm still not ruling out that he did it on purpose. In a time like this, it's easy to wonder about the future of our Hall of Fame caliber coach. Whether the man affectionately known as Sully is still the right man to lead this team. It's easy to wonder if we made the right decision to hold on to our big three stars, to preserve their legacy, and dream of perhaps one last run at Lord Stanley's fabled cup. But for now, all I want to do is reminisce. Not about the bad things, but the good things. The great things. The things that over the last 16 seasons cemented this franchise as the NHL's best. I want to remember Peter Sikora calling his shot in overtime to defeat the Red Wings. I want to remember Jeff Zadkoff, Thomas Volkun, and Louis Dominguez's spicy pork. I want to remember scoring so many goals against the Rangers that the King of New York flipped his net, literally. I want to remember a rookie goalie winning back-to-back Stanley Cups before playing a full NHL season. I want to remember that Rob Scuderi is the piece. I want to remember the impact that Jordan Stahl, Brian Rust, Connor Sheary, and Jake Gensel had in their first playoff appearances. I want to remember Nick Bonino sending the Capitals packing for a third consecutive series. I want to remember that Phil Kessel is a Stanley Cup champion. I want to remember that Max Talbot silenced every piece of shit in Philadelphia and scored 2 goals to win a Stanley Cup in Game 7. I want to remember Brooks Orpik's shift where he flattened 4 Red Wings in 15 seconds. I want to remember Chris Kunitz as the overtime hero he was. I want to remember Marc-Andre Fleury robbing Alex Ovechkin not once, but twice in elimination games. I want to remember Chris Letang's Stanley Cup winning goal. I want to remember Evgeny Malkin's hat trick to win the Eastern Conference. I want to remember Sidney Crosby and everything he has done. I want to remember why the Penguins will always and forever touch the Prince of Wales trophy. And most importantly, I want to remember Mike Lang's iconic call. We'll see you in Detroit for all of the marbles. 16 years is a long time. There's millions of sports fans wishing their favorite teams had half the success of the Penguins. And I'm lucky enough to say that I will remember every second of it.
Where the fuck is Max Talbot?
I want to remember Max Talbot silencing every piece of shit in Philadelphia and scoring 2 goals to win a Stanley Cup in Game 7. It's in there.
Thank you.
It was in there.
I heard the silence the crowd. Then I texted Greg and said, where the fuck is Max Talbot's goals?
And then I said retired. Bravo, Josh. Bravo. That was beautiful. That was beautiful. I'm proud of you. When I suggested yesterday you write a eulogy, I was not expecting you to have like a clear and concise like form of reference for it, but that was beautiful.
You didn't expect a eulogy?
You didn't expect a eulogy from a guy who to give a eulogy for his dead fucking dad at 18? Got him. Oh, I got him good, Deke. Did you see it?
I have an answer. No, I have an answer. I just don't want to say it.
No, go ahead.
No, I'm not saying it.
Come on, pussy. Say it.
Greg, saying you have an answer but not saying it is worse than just being like, yeah, you're right. Like or worse than saying it. What you're doing right now is worse than just saying it.
All right, fine. You know what? But this eulogy is actually is the one that you were sad to write about. That's why I didn't want to say it, motherfucker.
Oh,
that's why.
That's so much worse. That's so much worse than not saying it.
That's why I didn't want to say it.
Why would you say that?
That's why I didn't say it.
Why did you say
That's why I didn't want to say it.
Greg, why did you say that?
That's why I didn't want to say it.
That was 10 out of 10.
You told me to say it.
Greg, why would you say that?
Because you told me to.
There's very few times.
Told me to.
Oh my God, this is twice tonight. I told you to turn your AC on.
On a dead dad joke. There's very few times.
Oh, he just listens to everything I say. Apologize, Greg.
No, don't. I called you
Apologize.
A pussy and you let me have it. I'm proud of you. I'm proud of you.
I couldn't imagine.
Oh,
do you want to talk about how the thing I'm wearing right now, my dad got me as my birthday gift? It was the last birthday gift he got me.
That's just perfect timing then.
And you want to talk about how this was the first cup run? You want to do any of that? No.
I have a Max Talbot jersey that looks like that.
Yeah, you do.
Not one classic.
Good job, buddy.
So the Pens suck ass. So what are we going to do? Because here's my question. How many seasons? Do we have 1 season left of Gino? Or did we sign him for more?
2.
How many,
it was a 3-year deal.
How Tangers was a 2-year?
4 or 5, actually, I think.
Is he actually going to play hockey that long?
Yeah, but probably not for us. Oh, God, that's a good point.
Like, I'm genuinely scared for his health.
Right.
Dude, he knows more than I do. But
if anyone needs like a break for like just a little bit of time, it's fucking Chris Letang. Chris Letang had probably like just the most like, I don't even want to call it like, I don't even know what to call this year. Like, Jesus Christ, he had like probably every worst possible thing happen to him that you could think happened to him.
Yeah, he's through 27-28 is his final year.
Okay.
Under contract.
I believe him and Gino are like the same, and then Crosby's like a year. Oh, he's not?
Gino is 26-27, and Sid is up in 25-26.
Okay.
So what we're saying is we're in for a lot more pain.
Well, so We have a lot of people coming off the books this year. Some good, some bad. Jason Zucker's off the books. Dayton Heinen, Josh Archibald, Ryan Paling. Yes, Dumo is off the books. Kulikov is off the books. Now, that does not take care of the Jeff Petrie problem. Also, Tristan Jarry is off the books.
Thank God.
Yeah, because I looked at Cap Friendly earlier, and I believe that's about $20 million cap space we have going into next year.
So is Nick Bonino.
So we still have Nick Bonino.
We traded for him at the deadline, buddy.
And then he got hurt.
Okay, that makes sense. I was going to say I definitely ain't seen him.
No. Yep, you're right.
Like, hear me out. I wasn't asking like we trade. Like I ain't seen him.
I ain't seen him. Yeah, you're right.
If I ain't seen him, he ain't there.
So, so in theory, like a reload is possible. Unfortunately, the UFA class this year is not great, and we really don't have anything in the farm system. So signing a free agent isn't really in our bag. We really don't have great draft picks to offer. We're kind of up the river in that sense. We're going to have to figure out what to do. Also, we're going to have to find a new general manager to do it, which is going to be its own thing. We have to now also consider whether or not Mike Sullivan is the right guy to keep pushing.
Do you think he is? Because I almost think he isn't, due to how quickly we have in that sport moved on from coaches and managers and stuff before.
Him sticking around it's him and John Cooper are the longest tenured coaches in the NHL right now. And
wow.
Both of them arguably deserve it, right? Because they've both been to back-to-back Stanley Cups and all that other nonsense, right? I wonder whether or not there isn't a better opportunity to get a different voice in the room. But then again, apparently Sid, Gino, and Tanger love Sully, so it's not like before where the big three hated the coach. They loved their coach.
Yeah.
So that kind of complicates things. And it's not like his systems aren't working. In fact, it seems like at the trade deadline, we were making the joke that Hextall just picked up the phone and started calling people to prove that he was allowed to make trades. And Sullivan was really upset with a lot of the trades he made because he didn't take into account what Sullivan wanted. So I don't know, man. I don't know where you go from here. I know that there is a legit possibility that this time next year the Penguins are a top 4 seed headed into the playoffs and everything's honky-dory and we're not worried at all. The goaltending needs to be addressed, because if we're going to keep Tristan Jarry, which I don't necessarily think that Tristan Jarry was the problem, but he can't stay healthy.
He wasn't the success.
He was not the solution. So you got to address your goalie. You got to address your back end. You have to address your lack of depth across other than the top 2 lines. There's a lot to be done.
Yeah.
So they need to start talking and trying to find GMs as soon as possible.
So that leads me to the next question here, which is, are we as an entity holding on to those 3 guys a dying breed in terms of the NHL? Because I've just seen the success of other franchises moving on from their bigger names. Like obviously Ovovi's still there, but like Patty Kane leaving Chicago kind of shocked me a little bit just as a casual fan. I understand, they needed to. I think Boston's done a good job of interchanging while keeping some guys, but they've lost guys here and there along the way. Are we a dying breed by trying to keep 3 massive names with massive tags next to them?
So first, let's address the massive tags part, because they're really not that massive. $6 million for a second line center is actually really fucking good. Also, Chris Letang, $6 million a year is a bargain for a guy of his caliber. It also
I'm pretty sure Petrie makes more, actually.
Yeah.
No, about it, yeah.
It also wasn't the big 3 that were the problem this year. They delivered.
Oh, yeah, they played really well.
So they were all healthy, which is crazy to think about in previous years, too.
Now, the holding on to your superstar dying breed argument is a whole nother conversation. Okay. I think we will find out And I don't know that right now we can answer that question. I think
Fair.
The Capitals have openly stated that their goal over the next 5 years is to get Ovi the goals record. So hanging on to Nick Backstrom or John Carlson or whoever they want to, not a big deal. You can do that as long as Ovi's putting the puck in the net. Doesn't matter. Boston was a great call because they moved on from Zendo Chara. They've moved on from guys who were key pieces over the years. But they've also held on to Bergeron. They've also held on to Krejci. They've also held on to Marchand. And they're now holding on to Pasternak. So they're kind of a mixed bag.
Yeah.
Blackhawks are moving on from Taves and Kane because new ownership and leadership has forced that hand. Now, they moved on from Duncan Keith very early. They told Brent Seabrook he was done. They told Hossa he was done. So they've kind of done a mixed bag of it, but that's also because Stan Bowman isn't in charge anymore. I think where you're going to see the results or the answers, whether or not we were a dying breed, is if Austin Matthews never puts on another jersey, if Connor McDavid never puts on another jersey, if Trevor Zegras never puts on another jersey. Yeah. Because you look at Calgary, who moved away from Gaudreau and Tkachuk, and they're right where we are.
I like that a lot.
So I think it just kind of depends.
Yeah, Greg, get your head out of your ass.
Yeah.
All right.
I think after seeing this season, especially kind of realizing going into it that we were going to have the oldest roster on this team, I think this was kind of going to be the most challenging one when you think about it in hindsight, because Mike Sullivan's system prioritized when we won those cups. It was about speed, and it was to a degree about youth as well. And that's something that they lacked a lot this year.
Right.
And I think the system didn't work because of the guys that were on it, especially for the fact that they were older, somewhat slower, and also not as physical either, which is just not a winning recipe for a hockey team, especially if that's the system you want to employ. Having said that, also, I do want to point this out, because this is my logic. This has been something that I had a problem with even when Rutherford was the GM and stuff, is that he burned so much of the future to win now. And granted, we won cups, so I'm not bashing him for it, but
yeah,
those 5 years are what we have right now. He burned all that stuff that we were going to have to worry about in a few years to win those cups, and now this is essentially where we're at. We do not have the depth in our system to essentially replace guys that are either aging out or in that situation. You bring up Boston being a mixed bag. I can understand that, but Boston also had a really good revolving door of young talent that they were bringing up and then being able to be replacements. And now it's essentially kind of hit perfectly where they're now pairing them with guys that were veterans and kind of there for a while. And now you have a new generation up there. It's a great mixed bag to work with, which led to the success they had this year.
So then I think, go ahead.
I think that the problem with the Pens in general is that for the longest time, even anything that you read about them, is that they just don't have a great farm system. They don't have a great farm system. And part of it is because of the fact that they gave up so many of their first round picks to try to win now, which I'm not going to knock them for, because again, we won cups. So it's understandable, but now it's getting to the point that we're realizing that because we don't have that depth, we don't have that amount of young talent coming up and ready to take spots and fill them. We have maybe a few guys. I like Drew O'Connor, I like Alex Nylander, I like some of these other guys that I hope get chances next year. But for the most part, they don't have a deep team, and it really showed this year. And I'm curious to see how they're going to be able to do that going forward without. Because here's the thing, the Pens are always going to be the team that fills up to the cap. That's something that I'm totally okay with to that regard. And I want teams to do that. I want teams to go up to the cap as high as they can to build a credible team going forward and stuff. But it does say something that if you look at their talent roster overall, from Wilkes-Barre and Wheeling and guys that are playing in college and guys that are playing in juniors, they just don't have a lot of deep they just don't have a lot of talent to be able to help them kind of sustain that success moving forward and stuff. So that's going to be something that I think is going to be the pressing issue for them moving forward until they're able to build that back up, at least to get a pipeline going.
So here's my counter argument to that.
Go ahead.
And I'll keep it brief. We are ahead in the timeline from where Boston is. Boston right now is in the 16-17 timeline that we were in. Because if you think about the 16-17 timeline, guys like Rust, Gensel, Sheary, Dumoulin were all very young and came up and fortified an older roster, and they made a cup run. That's where Boston is now. Where I'd say where we are is we're entering what the LA Kings were entering a couple of years ago. Where the Kings weren't good anymore. They traded off to Foley and all those guys.
Jonathan Quick.
No, well, just now they did, but yes. You know, they emptied their cellar, right? They got rid of everybody that was worth a damn. Got a fuck ton of draft picks, reloaded the gun immediately, and now they're back in the playoffs with partially still some of their bigger guns intact. Kopitar's still there. Doughty is still there.
Yep.
So, like, I see a way forward, a path forward, where you trade your Justin Zuckers. You trade your Brian Rust, your Jake maybe not Gensel, but you trade some of those guys, get assets back, suck for a year or two, and then reload, and you're right back in this thing in 3 years. Now, that's going to take some revolutionary thought from a GM, and it also would take some bold nuts from a leadership group that just got control of this team in ownership. Do you really want to take a hit on tickets for the next 3 years after you just bought this team? Probably not.
So then, based on the business aspect of it, you are pointing out that the Pens are essentially stuck from that aspect then?
I unfortunately think they're stuck. Now, I also can't sit here as a Liverpool fan and tell you that Fenway Sports Group isn't willing to do that because they did it with Klopp, right? They immediately acquired the Reds, and then they were like, hey, this is our guy, clean house. We'll see you in 3 years when you're ready to compete, and look at what they did.
I would also point out as well that when FSG bought the Red Sox originally in 01-02, yes, the Red Sox do make splash free agency hires and stuff, but most of those teams that won World Series were guys that they built by drafting and developing. So there's logic to it. Yeah,
there's no cap in the Premier League. So it's tough for me to allow it full, even though I think you're on the right track, Josh, when they could offer Salah enough money to not leave and they still pay Van Dijk enough to not leave. Like, maybe I'm naive. That doesn't feel like enough of a thing in hockey where a guy, I mean, the only thing I've seen is an offer that I couldn't turn down in hockey is when the guy got offered bagels for life to stay an Islander and went to Toronto.
John Tavares. Yeah,
that's the only one I saw that I'd want.
But that's where the Kings come into play, Derek, is that the Kings did it. The Kings reloaded in 3 years.
Oh, 100%.
So, like,
and I think that it's something they could do.
Right.
It's doable.
It's doable. And where I was using the Liverpool comparison is that they had just acquired the Reds and gave Klopp time to turn it around.
Yeah.
That's kind of where I'm like looking at, like, maybe they are okay with eating it for 3 years for another cup.
Yeah, I agree. He should have been at Man U. I agree with you.
Yeah. All right.
Now, and Josh, I do want to bring up something too, because I do believe Ron Hextall needs to go. Absolutely. Because
he has to.
He has to. The decision making that he did were just not in line with what Sullivan did. But I also truly believe, though, that his entire tenure in Pittsburgh was marked with a lot of confusion from ownership about what to do.
No,
because I think
no.
Oh, wait. Let me hear me out.
I think he's a bitch.
Hear me out. When Jim. Oh no. I'm saying I believe he's bad, but I'm also pointing out too that when Jim Rutherford was let go, Jim Rutherford walked. Essentially. Did he voluntarily walk, or was he
Jim
like,
Rutherford quit?
Was it Burkle that like told him to like quit, or did he like just do it on his own?
Rutherford just quit.
Accord. Okay, so was Hextall essentially brought in? Was Hextall then brought in to essentially be like a guy to like hold down the fort, basically, or was there like a true vision to like have him as the guy that was leading the franchise then?
I think he wants to get milk and didn't come back.
Because if that's the case, then they should have just kept Patrick Galvin as the GM then, since he was the top lieutenant, and now he's in Vancouver.
Well, I mean, look how it's going in Vancouver.
Yeah, but
I think that they brought him in to turn around the farm system. That was Hextall's whole thing. Was like, yeah, he may not be a great GM, but he knows talent. He can identify talent. And it was Burkle who was brought in to kind of like attempt to help Hextall along. Because
real quick on that one, there's two different guys. Ron Burkle is the chairman. Brian Burke was the president that they brought.
I'm sorry, Burke.
Yeah,
is who I'm thinking of.
Yeah, get your head out of your ass, Josh.
Yeah, I know, right? But he was brought in to try to like groom Hextall into being a good GM and also be able to identify talent. And it didn't work. It didn't work. And if you look at what the Flyers are trying to deal with right now, they have a bunch of young pieces who are okay, but none of them are superstars.
Well, okay. That's a great point on that, because if you look at Hextall's drafts in Philadelphia, like in hindsight, they actually weren't that great when you think about it. But
they didn't pan out.
I do want to, yes, but I also want to bring up when you said Hextall was brought in essentially to rebuild the farm system.
Yeah.
He had 2 years to build the farm system, and he also had to re-sign Crosby, Malkin, Gino, Rust, Raquel, Gensel, and all that. So it's kind of like,
no, you're jamming stuff together.
But I'm pointing out that it's hard to rebuild a farm system when you are also technically still trading away picks, which might not even be something that he wants to do, because that can come from higher up in ownership, or it can come from the coach's perspective. And you don't have many draft picks to work with. Like if you look at the drafts that Hextall had, he did not have that many picks to work with. Like Owen Pickering was the last first-round pick that they had since Sam Poulin when Rutherford had him. I'm just saying,
did it though.
Rutherford only drafted Sam Poulin as his and Kapanen, but Kapanen was like
Rutherford got Rust. He got Gensel. He got Sheary. He got Dumoulin. He got Pettersson. You can't tell me he did not bring in young talent. He did. He brought in the talent that won and built the back end of the 16 and 17 Cups.
I get it, but I'm telling you, Hextall only had 2 years of drafting.
Hextall's a fucking joke.
I understand, but you're telling me that his logic was to rebuild the farm system when he only had 2 years to do it, and he didn't have that many picks.
Rutherford did it in 2 years. Rutherford had a cup team in 2 years.
Yeah, but he didn't rebuild the farm system in 2 years.
Yes, he did, because that's where the guys came from. Brian Rust didn't start as a Penguin. He was in Wilkes-Barre. Gensel was in Wilkes-Barre.
So within 2 years, he rebuilt the farm system, and in those 2 years, the farm system also won a cup?
In 2016, the farm system moved up and became the cup-winning team.
But were those guys that Rutherford had, or were they guys that Shiro drafted?
No, they're guys Rutherford drafted. Also, it would have been... Oh, yeah, Shiro, yeah. No, it was Rutherford.
Okay. If I'm wrong, I'll stand corrected on that one. But I find it hard to believe that you can rebuild a farm system in 2 years when you don't have many picks to work with in general. That's all I'm saying. And I believe Hextall made horrible decisions as to building an NHL roster. I'm not admonishing him for it at all. But when your job is to rebuild the farm system, but also keep the core together and try to contend, like that's tough to do both at the same time, I think. Unless you're Jim Rutherford, who did it and got 2 cups. I'm just saying.
I'll end it on this. When Fenway Sports Group bought the Penguins, they asked him for his 5-year plan, and his response was, "That's my intellectual property. I'm not going to tell you." That's a guy that doesn't know which way he's steering the fucking ship.
Yeah, he'll get fired then.
Okay. Do we want to do a game or
Yep.
do you want to do NHL preview playoff?
I deserve a game after sitting through that.
Shut the fuck up. All right.
After sitting through that, I don't blame
Yeah,
you.
that wasn't even enjoyable for people in attendance, let alone the pot. I'm just kidding. That was very impressive to watch you two show your penises against each other and play chicken.
All right.
Mhm.
I can't wait for us to find out later that Greg was right and those were Shiro's draft picks, and we all just agree off screen about it.
I'm
excited for it.
I would say if there was somebody who wasn't, it would probably be Dumoulin. But we signed Rust out of college. We signed Gensel out of college. We drafted Sheary.
Dumoulin definitely wasn't, because Dumoulin was part of the Jordan Stahl trade that Jim Rutherford was on Carolina side for that.
Okay, so there you go.
Damn, we didn't even have to wait for the text. It happened on air.
There you go. All right. Here's what's in contention for the game this week. Anti-draft, where two people are going. One person going to take their headphones off. We don't need to explain it if we win and wins. Guest logo.
That one is fun.
Best arcade games. Periodic elements, which is still a wild card.
You forgot it was there.
Yeah,
I didn't do it.
I'm so terrified for that one if we get it.
NFL mock drafts and non-craft beer drafts. And we begin in 3, 2, 1.
What's that, Greg?
And they're off.
How is non-craft beer drinks still picking up? Because I would have thought for sure that'd be a popular one by now.
Yeah, but you have to understand popularity means nothing. These are robots on the screen, Greg. you need to understand that, buddy.
I would think robots would want us to draft drinks.
Oh, no. Wait a minute, Greg. You spoke it into existence.
Oh, nice. That's a good one.
Ha! Huzzah!
Huzzah! All right. Non-craft beer drinks wins it. And NFL mock draft Deke is just dead last. I'm not even gonna
That's okay. We did it last week. He's tired.
All right.
Yeah.
So this is a beer draft about non-craft beers.
Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and hit that. Let that run while I get the draft board.
I think we're gonna have a very interesting conversation about some beers being craft or not.
I know. This is gonna be fascinating to try to figure out.
I think that it becomes a vote between the other two people, and if the vote is separated, we go to the wheel.
Okay, that's fine.
Oh my God, that's going to be amazing.
Needed to move that over, but that's fine. All right.
Just out of curiosity, too, could
Greg's
we go
first? Josh is second. Deke, you're third.
What, Greg?
Could we go more than 5 each technically for non-craft beer? Just saying.
Domestics?
Yeah, domestics is. I mean, yes, Greg.
I'm just saying.
Define craft without naming a beer, Greg.
Mass produced across multiple states and regions, I guess.
Can find it in every bar in America.
Yes, even better.
Now, granted, there's some location stuff there due to two beers that we love, even though I think you can get one and one. But the craft element is what's for debate. But there's a lot of ones that aren't craft.
And here's the other part I'm curious about as well. There's technically variations of
the variations count.
Variations count. Okay,
there are craft variations on regular beers.
Okay.
For example, I won't even name the for example.
Yeah,
I might be wearing one.
I would say that is a craft beer.
Yeah, it is. No, it is.
Okay,
it is.
Okay.
Yeah.
I thought, yeah. And we can talk about what the point of this draft is. Is it best ones? Is it best brand? Is it best? For me, this draft is very simple. It is just the best non-craft beer draft.
Okay.
Non-craft beer draft.
Yeah, I think we could get way more than 15 if we really sat.
That's why I was saying.
Good job with your math, buddy.
That's why I was saying, if we want, we could expand it just to get it even crazier. Just saying.
No. Okay. We can always, All right. So, wait, what was it? Greg, me, Deke. Are we doing Serpentine or from the top?
I do not care.
We did from the top last time, so you want to do Serpentine?
Serpentine it is.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's do Serpentine, yeah.
Gregers, you're up first, bud.
I drank it on Tuesday when I was at PNC Park with my dad watching the Pirates play, and God, it felt good to have one at PNC Park. Give me good old Pittsburgh staple Iron City beer.
So that's an interesting one because
agree.
you're. For me, it is a non-craft beer, but it does not fit your description, Greg, that you gave.
Right.
So I'd like to hear your defense. I'm eventually going to vote that it is a non-craft beer, but at the same time, would that make Peach State Light a non-craft beer? So I want to hear your defense because I don't think it is.
I think because of the fact that, you know what, based on the regional aspect of it, that's fair. It's from that perspective, it might not be a craft beer.
You also just lose your pick if this goes against you.
But it is also easily accessible in almost any bar in Pennsylvania, probably in like the eastern part of Ohio, northern part of West Virginia.
It's not regional, Josh. You can get it anywhere in Pittsburgh.
You can get it anywhere in Pittsburgh, West Virginia, or Ohio.
Yeah.
You ever been to Steubenville?
But you can't get it in Philadelphia. You can't get it in Harrisburg. Just on this side of the state.
I am cool with allowing it if we all agree it's because we're all, I'll say it with Josh back. I'm cool with allowing it if we all agree it's because we're all from Pittsburgh. Because at the end of the day, there's a couple beers down here that I have on my board that we all kind of know. Peach State Light is one that I think is getting unfairly ricocheted from this draft selection.
Yeah.
So I am team Peach State Light, but I will allow this pick.
Okay.
Greg, are you okay with that?
I'm okay with it, yes.
Okay. Terrible first pick, by the way.
Whatever. Have sentimental value to it.
Touche. Josh? Or is it?
It's me. It's me. I'm going to go ahead and take the big boy off the board. Give me Yuengling. I got it on draft in Oklahoma City.
That's what I was going to say,
Greg. That was the one I was thinking.
That's what I was going to say. That's actually fascinating that it's because in terms of quality, it's more of a craft, but in terms of the distribution of it, like it's like
it was labeled under domestic.
Criteria.
It is a domestic. So the beer that I was going to mention that's a variant that would not be acceptable is the Yuengling Hershey Chocolate Porter.
Right, or a black and tan.
I've had it here, but that's too specialty, even though there are variants there.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting. I like that you both went with extremely I won't say regional because you can't get Yuengling almost everywhere now. I guess it stops at a certain point because my friend couldn't get it in Vegas.
You know what's funny?
I don't know what it is
you can get it. So you can get it in Denver, which is interesting because it's almost there. It's almost at Vegas. But when I asked so I saw it in Oklahoma City twice. And when I asked the second bartender, I was like, how the fuck do you end up with Yuengling? And he's like, well, it's pretty simple. They figured out that people like to drink their beer outside of Pennsylvania.
Sounds a small place.
Yes, that was great.
Oh yeah, it's when you think about it, yeah, Yuengling's a small
it's a great beer.
It's a small distribution. Yeah.
I think it's the best. I think it will go up for the best beer on the planet. I think it's consistently
with we can get like Guinness. Is that are we thinking like a global reach?
I think there's when we're talking about the best beer on the planet, I'm saying, there's beers in there. I'm talking Lacto Cooler in the Yuengling for me is a premier blue chip prospect.
Okay. I'm not mad about that.
Yeah.
It's like Rolling Rock.
It's not a sexy
but better.
pick. It's a consistently great pick. Oh, and Josh once again just starts naming beers you can take.
You can't take that. That's regional.
I've gone in Florida.
Yeah, it's made by Anheuser-Busch, bud.
Okay. All right. I'm sorry.
Josh nah, goddammit, I had it in Pittsburgh.
Yeah, I had it. It's from Slippery Rock.
So this one's easy.
Yeah.
I believe there's a power 3 at the top.
Right.
In this category. Sure. So I will go with the one that has sentiment for us, and that's Coors. Coors Light.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a great follow-up question, but Coors Light. If you have those 3 cans lined up, they all taste different to me. They all mean different things. I'm most likely grabbing the Coors.
Not that you can correctly identify them in a blind taste test.
Nobody can.
No one can.
Jesus Christ himself couldn't.
Yeah.
So that's my first pick.
Okay.
Then we get into the interesting category because you both took something a little closer to home. So I start to think, what do we want out of this? What do we want to take? I'm going to take one that I think is going to somewhat, I don't know if it's going to cause a little stir here. I don't know if it maybe deserves this place in it, but give me Coors Banquet.
You know what, motherfucker?
I think
that's not funny.
This deserves it.
If you drink the golden can, you get to take it, Derek, and you have never drank a golden can in my presence. So fuck you.
We just got Yellow Jackets at work the other day, and I can't explain to you how different it feels.
It's so good
than Coors. So maybe I shouldn't take both of them. Maybe I'm dipping in one pool here. I think that I securely am as happy as I could be.
Off our big board. That was offer. If Yingling wouldn't have survived to 2, that was our first.
Yes, yeah,
100%. Fuck you, dude. That sucks.
Also, real quick, my apologies. I was looking at my phone when you were making that pick because my dad, who is in Niagara Falls with my mom, just sent me a voucher of him winning $551 at a casino.
All right, Greg's dad.
Yeah, so shout out to my dad. He's living that retirement life very well.
Tell him to give it to me. I'll set the parlay up.
That's right. Let's double it. I can double that for you. Just call Greg's dad right now. I can double that for you.
Double that for you.
He's got enough income being retired and stuff. He's built. Yeah.
But then you go buy a sword, and then you trade a sword for a dog, and then you eventually, 2 seasons later, get the payout for the dog.
Yes.
All right,
Josh.
I'm up. It was on the front of the Liverpool kits for years. Give me Carlsberg.
Yes. It is technically not a domestic, but it is a non-craft beer, Greg.
I was going to say, because that's interesting, because when you brought up domestic...
I mean, you took Iron City.
Yeah, that's fair.
Okay.
It says non-craft beer at the top. It does not say.
When I went, I don't know if you motherfuckers been out of the country or not. When I went to Sweden,
just Canada,
Carlsberg was it was the light beer.
Yeah. Okay. Greg, you're up for 2.
All right. So this one then. It's my ride or die. It's one of my favorite beers. It's one of my top 5s. Guinness.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, Josh had mentioned that, and I was curious what was going to arise with that one. I'm very on par.
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah. It feels like a craft beer, doesn't it?
You would think, but it's also the simplest beer to make. 'Cause I think it's only 3-4 ingredients.
Wait till you have a half-pence, Greg. When you come down, I have new breweries to try. Obviously,
Is that the one at Barrique? Yeah, okay.
It makes a half-pence. That is, in my opinion, a better Guinness.
That's some high praise right there.
It is. You're up for your 3rd, Greg.
So I'm stuck between a couple, but I'm gonna go with one that I don't know why I love it, but I do. I love the bottle. I love the bottle cap for it. Actually.
Oh, get out of here!
Give me the High Life, Miller High Life, baby. Yeah, give me the High Life.
What's on the High Life cap?
The champagne of beers. It's like it's almost kind of like a sun design, actually. From what I remember, it's pretty dope.
Before we became a Coors podcast, shout out Coors BGH. I was pounding the High Lifes on this show.
Yeah, High Life is great.
The bottle is just the High Life bottles are just I don't know what it is about them, but I would love drinking them at a bar. I don't know why. Something about them.
Oh, man. I'm up, huh?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, a little story time here for you young fellers. In high school, I may have underage drank a little bit. Sorry, Mom. And
wow.
I had a really, there was a big group of us, and one of our dear friends actually was technically a Canadian immigrant. So when our plug would buy us beer, he would buy everybody else a certain domestic, and he would buy a case of Labatt Blue for the man affectionately known as Canada and me.
I don't know, Greg. You said Bud first.
I know, I really did.
What the fuck was that?
I'm on my fifth beer today. All right, like you gotta remember
a Slippery Rock party, and I saw Labatt on the table, and I opened it and said, "This is the best beer ever."
Yep.
I also want to point out here too that Josh scolded me numerous times for being a Labatt Blue Light fan. Just saying.
I picked Labatt Blue, not Labatt Blue Light.
I know, but like I love both, and
you're such a pheasant.
It's like Greg hates me because I said I love Captain America, but I also love Spider-Man, so I don't know why he hates me.
Same realm, man. Same
realm.
It's
stupid in both worlds, buddy.
Anyway.
Nice in the argument. All right, that's a great pick.
You're up for two.
This is I mean, Josh, sentimental value aside, you're an idiot. Give me Pabst Blue Ribbon.
Oh, JP, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, JP.
I mean, dude, there's nothing better than a PBR.
Pounders, baby.
Yeah,
forever.
like there's genuinely like if you have all the light beers there, I hear hot take. A lot of people in Pittsburgh are taking a PBR over an IC
every day.
That's fair.
Down at Belvedere's, you think they ain't selling out a PBR every Friday night when it's 90s night? They are.
Belvedere, Smiling Moose, and then Sonny's Tavern in Bloomfield, $1.50 pounders. I got wasted there.
I have a question for you, Greg. What was your first overall pick?
It honestly was Guinness, but then I wasn't entirely sure.
What you actually took, buddy?
Oh, Iron City.
Oh. Ah, fuck!
Give me Icy Light.
Nice. Bravo.
Better of the two. I saw it sitting there, and I was like, I see Iron City beer.
Oh,
yeah,
so
Iron City.
Icy Light.
He's so right. Fuck.
I love Icy Light. I might be the minority. I like normal Iron City, honestly.
You are the minority. Give me the better one. I have 3 other beers that I was going to try to sneak in here, and then I literally looked at Iron City beer, and I was like, that does not say light.
Man, when my brother came to visit and then ended up just living here for like a month, he brought a case of Icy Light with him. I cried. God when it hit my lips.
God bless him.
I cried. Ugly, ugly fucking tears.
Josh, where would you have put it if you didn't think it was taken? And
1-1 over Yingling. 1-1. Let's go. 1-1.
Bravo.
I thought it was gone.
So did I.
I didn't even think about it.
And if Greg would have said Icy Light, I would have been like, cool, you're good. No stress.
Yeah, because I felt good about Yingling at that spot.
Yes.
I thought I was taking Icy Light. I thought Greg was going to take Yingling. So I'm up.
I've never felt better about a draft.
You should. Because I'm not saying, like, I'm trying to stay true to, Josh picks, right? But also, like, that's a Josh cooler
whose
for a
bar
fucking
would you
weekend.
go to?
Yeah, I'm going to your bar.
Cooler are you reaching at?
Going to your bar. My bar's getting expensive, Speaking of getting expensive, we'll see what you guys think of this one. This is my favorite international draft. Killian's Irish Red. Yes or no?
I consider it 100% a non-craft beer.
Okay.
A red is tough because once you start defining the beer,
it gets a little crafty.
It gets a little crafty, but that is a macro-produced product.
Okay.
Greg? We go to the wheel, Greg, so.
I had it on draft at the Pittsburgh Renaissance Festival. Good. So that alone kind of makes me think that it's mass produced. So I think it qualifies to non-craft. So I think we're okay. Yeah.
That was the first time I got drunk in public. Was just pounding Killian Irish Reds at the Pittsburgh Irish Festival. Just
nice.
Fucked.
Oh, that's amazing.
Okay. Greg, you're up. For 2. Okay. Your last 2.
Okay, to add some north of the border flavor, give me Molson.
Yep, absolutely.
Is Molson the less good Labatt, or do you guys not think of it that way? Because it's fallen in that category in my head, but that's just, I think, Canadian prejudice.
So Molson's more expensive.
But it's not as good.
It's a higher alcohol content. I know these aren't necessarily admitting good or bad, but I'm just
you understand none of those are okay. Cool. Yeah, it's also spelled different for everyone at home, but
technically a different company. You know,
Greg, why do you like Molson? I'll ask that.
You know what? And first off, I've said this many times, and I speak it true. I've never had a bad Canadian beer. First of all, never in my life. Even Moosehead is elite.
Oh,
so
I'll tell you right now,
Toronto
was my favorite weekend of my life. I think.
Yeah,
that country, they know what they're fucking doing. they got healthcare and shit.
Yeah, they got healthcare and they have ample water to make as much beer as they possibly can.
I'm pretty sure I seen Drake at brunch.
You seen Drake at brunch?
Yeah,
it's very possible.
I'm pretty sure.
You seen Drake at brunch?
Him and Ben Stiller.
You know what? It's interesting. I think you know what? It's interesting. Molson's been around for a long time, and I just think quality standpoint, I think it's solid. Plus, the Molson family owned the Canadians for a while, so there's some hockey history to it. So why not? I've never had a bad Molson in my life, even on draft. So
okay,
all right, that's fine.
Next one up.
Yeah, and then I'm between two, but you know what? I'm going to add a little more international flavor to it. Give me a standard green bottle great that is Heineken.
Yep, that's fine.
I have 3 similar ones that are better.
Ooh.
Is how I'll word that, Greg.
Ooh, from international standpoint too?
From very close to Heineken.
Okay.
Oh, so that just triggered me for a different one.
I know. I got 1 pick left, and I got 3 that I really like.
Okay, so do you want to expand it like Greg was talking about?
Greg, do you feel like you can go 7?
Yes,
I can go
absolutely.
7. Okay,
let's go 7.
Absolutely.
7. Got it.
Absolutely.
Okay, then let me get them before somebody else gets them. Give me Hogarden. What? Really? Really?
So it's a wheat by nature. It's the same thing for me with Killian, where I got to think through it. I haven't seen Hogarden in a while. Now,
interesting.
Does that matter for this debate? No, not at all. Hogarden to me was a staple at Redbeard's when I worked at Sixpen, and it was the first wheat beer I drank, and I drank that place fucking dry of it every week. I haven't seen it in a long time. To me, it is 100% the purpose of this draft is correct. Where is it made? Isn't it made in some foreign fucking land?
Yeah, it's Belgium.
Yeah.
Okay, Greg?
I consider it like a offshoot of another potential beer that might be taken later on, just saying, but it fits the criteria of the mass-produced type thing that I'm going with. So
they call it a pre-crafted craft beer.
Yes,
which I think
you know
matches the macro distribution purpose.
Yes, the macro distribution part is where I'm getting at.
Agreed.
Because I think that's the logic. Because I remember getting
Okay, go ahead.
I remember getting a 6-pack of it from Coney Island and Slippery Rock. So I'm pretty sure that I would consider it non-craft just for that reason alone.
Okay, because and I don't think I'm speaking out of turn or naming a beer I shouldn't. Dogfish Head 90-minute IPA is mass produced.
I would challenge that one, but you're correct.
So that's not
an IPA to me is craft.
But that's where I'm at. I'm almost taking the the mass produced out of it.
Yeah, the wheat beers are kind of like wheat beers or wit beers are kind of like that borderline
wit beer
type area.
I say we spin the fucking wheel.
I'm very comfortable with this being a part of a non-craft beer draft.
All right.
As long as we keep saying domestics, obviously we're outside of there.
Right.
As long as we don't sit here and say it had to be this has to be a beer you find at almost every bar in America, and you find Hogarden in almost every bar in America. Greg, do you agree?
Not so much on draft, but yeah, I think you could probably
draft the bottle.
Yeah, but you could probably find a Hogarden bottle easily at that point. Yeah, I think you're okay.
Okay, all right,
fine with me.
Okay, cool. So you're up for 2, Deke.
All right, I am gonna take the one that is the better Heineken.
Which is?
It is just better, Greg. Stella is just the better beer.
Ooh, I will give you that because especially I was at a concert like a few months ago and the bar at that place had Stella cans. And I've never seen Stella in cans before.
Oh,
so
Stella,
it's just
Stella's
the weirdest
crisp.
thing.
It's the only beer I think of when I think of the word crisp. Stella. It's right there.
It's also the first beer I think of that has a special glass for it as well.
Yeah,
which I think adds a fanciness to it. But you know what? Stella's also.
It was the first glass with a fancy, or the first beer with a fancy glass.
I'm pushing back.
Go ahead.
If you have your own glass, you're not a non-craft beer. If you don't pour a Stella into a regular pint glass, that's a non-craft beer. That's a craft beer.
Wait a second.
Why is it a craft beer?
Because it has to come in its own special vessel.
What does that have to do with the craft portion?
Because you pour like different types of beers into different glasses when they're a craft version. Right? Like the IPA has its own glass. A wheat has its own glass.
Do you think Hoegaarden has the same glass as Yingling?
Ooh.
Okay.
So now
it's a wit beer.
Here's the other thing. I would say that I've thrown the glass conversation into the arena. Technically, Guinness then does not count as well.
So it's the glass thing. Here's the correction there, Josh. The glass thing is the beer style, not the craft origin. Very specific beer styles. So a wit beer, a red ale, you're looking at a Pilsner, a lager, and that's pretty much all we've drafted up till now. Even Heineken and Stella fall in that. The glasses, 110 billion% have to do with the style of beer. Each style of beer has an individual glass.
I feel like that almost makes it craft.
And I'm just
lagers
going.
And pilsners actually are supposed. Well, pilsners are supposed to be served in the skinny glass at Trace, while lagers are in large ones.
Good counter argument. Let's move on. You're right. You're right.
So I'm up for my 6th pick. I have 2 left here. I want to get one of these.
Okay.
The question is, which one does Derek want?
Great.
For me, I could go with any of them, but there is one that is commercialized and one that I want when it gets hot outside, and that's Corona.
Oh, yes. Damn it. I was hoping to get him on that next one. Shit.
There's 3 Mexican style lager beers that are great. Corona's just the king of it, man.
Yep. There's another one too, but I agree. Corona is the tits. Okay. I went through a phase with this beer in college, largely because of who the creator of it is, and it might fall into that Peach State Light category. Is Land Shark?
Yes. That's the other one.
Cool.
Nothing wrong with Land Shark.
Jimmy fucking Buffett, baby.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Land Shark for me is just an American Corona, and that's the one I compete with it.
Well, yeah, it's Jimmy Buffett's fucking beer. Like, let's party.
That's sick. No, Land Shark's great. That's
okay, cool. All right.
Whew. And I would dare anyone on the planet to try to blind taste test that.
Right. I mean, it's
Land Shark and Corona. That would actually be interesting.
It wouldn't, because it'd be a guess.
I think that was my first clue that I was an alcoholic. Was that I bought so much Land Shark from the beer distributor in Butler that they gave me an inflatable fucking like pool chair that was Land Shark.
Nice.
That's awesome.
Rock and roll. All right. It was college. Who cares? Greg, you're up for your last
you're up for your last 2. Yeah. Unless we go another round.
I mean,
which is it?
As we continue to go, I'm like, I could do 10.
Do we just want to go to 10?
Greg?
Listen, I got nowhere to be tonight, so yeah, give me another. Right. Give me more. Why not?
I'm gonna grab a canteen.
Okay. Do your thing.
All right.
You're up for 2, Greg.
Okay. So then this brings up the conversation then. So like because Hoegaarden has been introduced for it,
yes.
Then give me the one that is probably the gold standard of the wit beer and the wheat beer and the one that introduces it to everyone. Give me Blue Moon.
Yo.
Blue Moon, come on. So you can get a Blue Moon in any bar in America.
So, but that's where I think we're having this conversation, and what I was trying to bring up earlier is the mass produced does not mean it's not a craft beer.
Fair. Blue Moon's also Blue Moon started as its own thing, but then Miller Coors did buy them out and are now making it on their own accord. Who? So I am curious. Blue Moon.
Yes.
So I'm saying no.
Okay.
I'm trying to look to see if it says craft beer.
I'm all for the wheel if it comes to that, but I feel like if we're allowing Hoegaarden, then Blue Moon should also be considered in this case.
There is a difference between wheat beer and Witbier, just to clarify. Mm-hmm. Blue Moon is a wheat beer. Hoegaarden is a Witbier, which is spelled different. My answer to that is that Hoegaarden is 110% million more craft than Blue Moon. And I'm very comfortable with Hoegaarden being a part of this.
Okay, so here actually this is going to end up in Greg's, maybe. Hang on. In May 2015, a California man filed suit against Miller Coors for the craft beer labeling. However, the lawsuit was dismissed by a judge in October. That doesn't really help us.
Craft beer is a beer that is made by craft breweries. They produce small amounts of beer, typically less than large breweries, and often are independently owned. Such breweries are perceived and marketed. But we need to consider, Greg, a conglomerate owned by Anheuser. Like, I would consider Wicked Weed closer to craft.
Yes, no, I would too, even though they're owned by Anheuser-Busch.
Right, like Dogfish Head's craft.
Yeah,
I would say Dogfish Head is closer to craft, yeah.
Because that brings another one into it, too.
Love the Yellow Jackets pick it too. A gentleman drink. Thank you, Sid. It was a great pull, and Icy led it 4. I want to thank my parents. So you're going with Blue Moon?
I'm going Blue Moon, yeah.
That is the first draft pick with a now Hoegaarden sometimes has this, and I know Corona and Landshark do, a piece of fruit that is not a lemon or a lime, a citrus.
Right. I'm going, for the sake of me having Hoegaarden, I'll give Blue Moon to Greg. But
that's the tough thing, Josh, is you want to say no to a ton, and you're like Hoegaarden.
Yeah, I think it's close. I think it's close. Okay, so Greg took Blue Moon. You have one more, Greg, right?
Yes, okay. I have one more.
Just so you know, Josh, Blue Moon is a domestic.
Yeah, I did know that.
Okay, cool. Totally cool.
Yep.
I know we were bringing that up earlier. As I didn't know if that helped or not.
I think if anything, the fact that like somebody tried to sue and say it was a craft beer and a judge told him to get the fuck out, like, like that probably hit it. You know what I mean?
For that guy.
Yeah. So
that's pretty awesome. All right. Apologies to our friends at Coors PGH, but I'm taking another one of the big 3, and it's going to be the one I prioritized in college. It's going to be Bud Light.
Boo.
Yeah, I was going to say, I was about to wrap this next round Bud Light with, yes.
Yeah. You guys are
I'm just getting it. I'm getting it out of the way.
It's a top 3 brand in this space, and it's not close.
I understand.
The power.
Never mind. I was going to say something really bad. That's the 6th beer in me.
I already said something bad earlier.
The power of their situation with the trans stuff, I think, is where you were leaning to. And
yeah, we're going to stay with
power.
Yep.
People still buy it to pour it out, Josh.
That's great. Kid Rock shooting the Bud Light cans. That was the level of insanity I could not
would love
quite
Kid Rock
understand.
So much more if he wasn't real. So like if it was a movie or a TV show, I would be obsessed with it.
Now you suddenly understand why he made a song called "Ball with the Ball," the bang, ticky, then the boogie, then not drop the boogie. Yeah, so that's who made that. Just
friend of the program, Ryan Thompson, and I were discussing the Kid Rock controversy because Ryan's partner is trans and Ryan is LGBTQA, and we were just like.
At what point do we have to just stop like looking at the news because like our childhood favorite bands are just dropping left and right? Like, you know what I mean? Like Kid Rock, Limp Bizkit. Like some of these bands are really not aging. Limp Bizkit.
Some people would say it's your fault for listening to them growing up that we're in this position.
I'm white trash, baby. I don't give a flying fuck.
7, Josh.
And I just want to say for official, Peach Day Light on the can says craft light beer. So I'm taking them out as a possibility. Like sorry, Jake.
I would have allowed based on location due to IC Light and Iron City Beer, but I appreciate your information.
I mean, you can't even get that everywhere in Georgia. Then. So
that's
like it's really
craft.
How do we feel about Newcastle Brown Ale?
That is just as correct as Killian Irish Red and Guinness.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Newcastle was, I almost said it. So when I was in Sweden, that like, no joke, it was Carlsberg and Newcastle. Newcastle was the first legal beer I ever had. Because I was 19.
I didn't know that. Same. Mm-hmm. That's cool.
Great first legal beer.
It is.
Actually, Josh, my first legal beer was Labatt Blue.
Perfect. When the restaurant I worked in, when I was in high school, nobody ever bought it, but we always had it. And I was like, what is that beer that nobody gets? And I was like,
a brown ale.
Turned 21, walked in, got it. Yep.
All right. I'm going to do it just because Greg did. I'm going to take Miller Light.
Okay.
I want to get the big 3 out of there, and I claim 2 of them very heavy. Yeah, thank you, Greg. I very much am happy about that one. And now we get a little interesting. There's, a ton of light beer and a ton of stuff that sticks in there. I'm going to go. I think it's a niche choice. It's a choice that Thoughts on the Bench has shown live on air before.
Okay.
Shout out to the ranking. Give me Michelob Ultra.
Yes.
Oh, great poll.
Fuck great yeah, dude.
Poll. Phenomenal poll.
Yeah.
I'm proud you took the normal one instead of the cactus lime flavored one that he would try to offshoot. But bravo. That's
Give me the rankings. Poll. The rankings. Go juice. Michelob.
Great poll.
Greg, you're up for 2, buddy.
Nope, Josh,
you're up.
Oh shit! I'm sorry. Okay, so I'm staying true to what Josh would drink. Fat Tire. I don't know.
New Belgium's a craft brewery, but it is.
It's a tough one.
I know it is, and I don't mean to keep being tough, but like,
let's try. Is Fat Tire a domestic beer?
We need the Is This Band emo site for craft beer.
New Belgium Brewing Company is a nationally distributed brewery in the United States. That means Fat Tire is fitting into this.
Fuck yeah, give me Fat Tire.
Well, unless Greg disagrees, then it's
true.
To me, Greg, a nationally distributed brewery does not mean. Go back to the definition.
But at the same time, like the vanilla porter from New Belgium, it's like Sasquatch vanilla porter. That's clearly a craft beer.
Yeah, there's definitely some questions in it. There's 2 breweries I have in mind that are, but they aren't. Like, and I'm not going to name them for the sake of this, so if I can remember them later. To me, I remember the first time I saw Fat Tire, and I said, "Oh, this is Yuengling's competitor."
Yes. 100%.
And that's why I'm cool with it here.
Greg. It's Yuengling's West Coast competitor.
Okay.
It was West Coast predominant, yeah.
Yeah.
That's interesting where I struggle with because of the fact that we're including Yuengling, then we almost kind of have to include Fat Tire.
Right.
Based on that logic.
Right.
But Fat Tire weirdly has a bigger reach than Yuengling.
Yeah.
So that's
for sure. Which helps that argument.
Yeah, so
you can't get Yuengling in Nevada, but you can get Fat Tire.
Yeah, it's more widely understood than we understand. I think when we got it, it was a little late to the game in terms of the fandom.
I read about Fat Tire in an econ book. That's how I found out about it.
All right.
In college. Yeah, it was sick.
Nice.
So while New Belgium, the brewery might be considered like a craft brewer to that degree. Fat Tire, because of the fact it is like just produced so heavily and is like just essentially nationwide at this point, I would have to say it counts.
Okay.
It counts.
Fat Tire. All right. Again, my bar
I have some
is
questions
very
on my
expensive.
last two for you, Greg.
My bar is very expensive.
Your bar's got some. Your bar wakes up at 7:00 to show the soccer games.
Yeah, exactly.
I gotcha.
Shout out,
right
fucking
vibe. I like it.
Piper's Pub. Happy to see they're back open.
They are reopening. So fucking happy. It's been years.
Yeah,
years.
We were all in Piper's Pub underage, right?
No, I wasn't in Pittsburgh underage. Well, technically I was. True. Never mind. I went to Point Park, but my underage, I went to Double Days.
That was we had a deal with the bartender, my roommate and I, that we would buy full breakfasts, and we were allowed to come in to watch the soccer games.
Nice.
Yep.
Bravo.
Yep.
Bravo for getting that poll. That's impressive.
Greg, you're up for 2.
Okay. I will get this one simply because Josh hates it, but I love it. Give me a Labatt Blue Light.
I think looking at the light category of some of these is a smart move.
Yes.
Yeah.
And here's the thing too. I remember in college going out of my way to get Labatt Blue Light. Me and Vo would go out of our way to get Labatt Blue Light. That's like our drinking beers because it tasted better than
this guy was going to get Natty Ice with Andres and Mitch while Greg went and got
did you just
Labatt
say
Blue
one?
Light. I did, but no one's taking Natty Ice on this. That's a 12% beer.
All right.
No one is taking that. No.
If Natty Ice was on your board, I apologize, and I will gladly buy you a Natty Ice.
All right.
There's no chance your soccer pub has that.
No.
If that's on, can you imagine a place that Natty Ice is on draft? That'd be, I wouldn't.
Dude,
even
I remember
know
when I first understood beer, and there was another variant of a beer that you just named, Greg, that I won't name due to the drafting aspect of this show. That was on draft where we go to vacation at Myrtle Beach, and I was like, sick. I was like, that's cool.
That's
a little
awesome.
hot dog shop, yeah. You're for 9, Greg.
You know what? There's two Mexican beers that are still on the board that I can think of. Actually, 3, honestly.
3.
The third one might be I can think of it. But I'm gonna go with one that I definitely find enjoyable, and I'm gonna go Modelo.
Yeah. Best commercials.
Those are the 3. Corona, Landshark, Modelo are the 3 that I was talking about. Yeah, best commercials by far.
Yeah, I can actually think of 2 other ones on top of that, but I might save them for the end, so we'll see.
So I'm back up.
Can I ask, are they of that style or Mexican lagers, Greg?
Mexican lagers, yeah.
Okay, go, Josh.
Give me American Light. What? Really?
It counts, but I'm judging you so much.
Yeah, 100%. That's. This was a fairly fun draft up until this moment. Yeah. That's your shitty light draft of choice.
So hang on. Whoa, what the fuck? Hang on. What just happened? Somehow all the Zoom videos just ended up on top of everything.
Nice.
All right, there we go. Great.
Okay.
So here's why I picked American Light. Shout out Frank Vieira. Frank Vieira would crush these in college.
Okay.
Wow.
I'm a little lost. Was that the whole story?
Yeah.
Oh shit. Okay. Shout out Frank Vieira.
Okay.
That's why you took it?
Yeah, it was this was like I kid you not.
Have you ever drank one?
Oh, well, unfortunately, I've had a warm beer. Better than no beer, as Frank Vieira would say.
But you said unfortunately to a draft pick you just took.
Well, I don't know, man.
You see what I mean?
Yeah, but also
you didn't enjoy the pick.
Listen.
Might as well take Jacob's best, Sid said.
I wanted to give a shout out to my friend.
Should have been at the 10 spot. That was a terrible decision.
I wanted to give a shout out to my friend who's a friend of the program.
PR for Jeremiah?
Dude, I can't believe I just
that was nasty.
It was bad. I should have taken PBR as my 2.
I can't believe. Wasn't that at your wedding?
Yeah. Yeah.
That was like a part of it.
It was no. Well, I can't. So it was definitely. This is not a craft. Or this is a craft beer. Was the nut roll from Penn?
Yes. Yeah.
Was a part of it.
My God.
And then Icy Light, and it might have been. Yeah, I bet it was PBR.
I think it was. I think we talked about it because I was like, oh, this guy likes PBR a lot.
Yeah.
All right, I'm up for 2. First one's easy. Josh and I know it well. Give me a Montauk.
Fuck! I wanted to take that at 10 and rub your face in it really bad.
No, you should have taken it there, rub my face in it, and then taken your shitty American Light. Montauk, I'll force you to have one down here. It's just a light beer. It's the Icy Light of the South, brother.
Icy Light of the West, son. It's made in Montucky.
I was gonna say, I feel like I might have seen the can when we were like walking somewhere, and like the can was just crushed on the side of the road or something. More than likely,
oh, it's everywhere, brother.
Montucky. So should we? So should we just be drinking Montucket when we do the draft show then?
Fuck yes,
100%. Good
Unofficially brought to you by Montucky Cold Snack.
Well, we 100%. Normally drink like heavy beers, and then we don't remember who was drafted.
Right. So maybe the trick is then to do something heavy up front and then just finish it up the rest of the time with Montucket Gold. Oh my God.
All right.
Great idea.
Montucky Cold Snack. Good pull, Derek.
I got 2. 3, I guess, technically. Dude, we left a lot on the table and it's a little upsetting for me.
Yeah, I mean, we could do 15 easily.
Yeah. But I am going to do it. I'm going to do it. We called it earlier. Sid did bring it up. No, that's disgusting. I'm not taking that, Sid. I like Latrobe a lot.
Rolling Rock.
I'm going to go with Rolling Rock.
Damn. I was hoping to finish that up with it.
So, yeah, Sid had said it, and I said Josh named it early, and I think we made fun of him, so now we're all avoiding it.
Yeah.
That was my call. I
was hoping to get it on the wraparound. I was hoping you would forget it.
Josh, you're up for your 9th.
All right. Man. I'm so shaky now after the American Light got such a bad response.
You should have taken.
I should have taken Montucky Cold Snack.
Yeah,
for sure. Fuck it. Give me Hams.
Yes, that's a good save.
My dad would love you for that.
That's a good save.
That was such a great pull.
Yeah.
That was such a great pull.
Finish us off with both hands, Greg.
There's a couple, there were a couple times for family gatherings. My dad went out of his way to try to find bottled hams for it, and there's no distributor that does it. Damn. You can't find it. You can't find bottled ham, so it was just the canned stuff. Bravo, great pull.
Like a rock, like a rock. Sorry.
I'm going to finish it up with kind of a lame one, but might as well. It is the one with a crown for a reason. The king, that is Budweiser.
Yeah.
Bud Heavy.
Yeah.
Bud
Heavy, baby.
Bush camo cans, Milwaukee's
how did
best.
I leave Bush Latte off here?
Yeah, so Bush Latte, Milwaukee's best is left off.
MGD.
And now I'm looking at this link. Bud Light Lime.
Would Bud Light Seltzer count?
I would say no. It's a
seltzers are its own category.
True. The other ones on here: Bud Light Platinum, Bush Light, Miller Genuine, National Bohemian, Steel Reserve, Sam Adams, Natty Light,
Sam Adams.
So here's my thing about Sam Adams.
Sam Adams was the borderline that it would have been like no.
I almost picked Goose Island.
Ooh.
Because it is technically considered a domestic, but it is the only IPA I can think of that actually has it. That makes that's in there.
Right.
Goose Island 312. Yeah.
That's tough. That's right. I think that's right there with Fat Tire and Hogarden as far as
Shock Top.
Oh, Shock.
Do they even make Shock Top anymore?
Yeah,
Susie loves a Shock Top.
I'm just looking at a draft at a TGI Fridays in my head and trying to think of what's there.
I haven't seen a Shock Top in stores in years. Like I thought that they stopped making them altogether.
Shocked to find out they didn't.
Wow.
Yeah, okay, so I won this. This was a good draft, though, guys. I think we did a really good job of naming
What do you mean
beers.
you think you won it?
Josh, you conceded like 46 times that entire thing, and then you took
I'm not
American
saying
Light.
that I was necessarily wrong. I kind of like Greg's.
No, you don't.
I do. You've got the Blue Moon for the basic people. You've got the Iron City for the Yinzers. You've got Guinness. You've got Miller High Life, Molson, Modelo's.
I'm well-rounded.
And also, Bud Light is Light.
Is it?
Yeah.
One of them is Lite. Is that Miller?
Miller, yeah.
That would be Miller, yep.
That was the thing.
Wait, Greg, you were drinking Miller?
Yep.
Yeah, I wouldn't put it on the list. Fuck no.
Derek didn't take Coors Lights.
Bro, this is just me trying to like get rid of the inventory in my fridge. Shit. Yeah, I wouldn't take it.
This has been another wonderful episode of Two Beers Deep. We need to get this ranking up on an image, and I can handle that because the people need to vote.
Yeah.
That's where I'm at.
Yeah. Desperately.
Okay. We will see everybody next Thursday and talk about more sports and shit. Next week is the draft preview.
Yes.
So get excited. And then the following week is the live draft extravaganza.
Real quick, because I don't know how much we'll talk hockey after this. I would love to see the Oilers and Leafs in the Cup final.
I was thinking about this after I saw the field kind of set. And quite frankly, I kind of want to see Toronto, and this is going to sound dumb, but I would love to see Toronto and Vegas.
Okay. That's fine. But yeah, give me an all-Canadian Cup for once. So
I hate Canada. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been Two Beers Deep. We'll see you guys next week.
Say goodnight,
Bye,
Greg.
guys.
Good night, Greg. Stupid face.
Love.